big-time winner for the Manchester United man. And the Ivory Coast take it. Were you surprised by that?
I'm going to say no. I don't think this was a great game. I don't think it was a great game at all. But I thought in the second half, Ivory Coast felt like they were better. They felt like they were the better of the two sides.
Senegal not much better in the first half. Excuse me.
Listen, yeah.
Or Senegal, for that matter.
Let's not worry about Senegal just now. But it felt like they were a little bit better. They carried a bit more threat. And I think in terms of like star attackers, I thought Yan Diomande was really good. I think he was forcing the Ecuadorian defenders back, and some of the quality in terms of his final pass wasn't great for the most part, but he was very, very dangerous, and I think he carried the flame for them. So I think based on the second half, I think I'm okay with that result. But it was a tough game. It was very much a battle. Yeah. Certain bits of individual quality, but they're going to be tough teams to play against.
Yeah, in order for Ecuador to be successful in this World Cup, they're going to have to answer a question that I don't think they answer in CONMEBOL qualifiers, and that is, are you going to score enough goals? And in all honesty, they did create a couple of chances today. They hit them off the post, and when those things begin to happen, then you're depending heavily on what you do defensively. Again, this is a team that scored less than a goal per game in World Cup qualifiers over a course period of 3 years, 3.5 years. It tells you that they're not all that dynamic or all that productive, and so they're going to depend on what they do defensively. And to your point about Yan Diomande, Piero Hincapié is going to have a difficult time sleeping tonight because anytime Diomande gave one of these, Hincapié was, I know, ay mama, where do I go now? You see the guy not moving all that well. And it's not like Diomande was doing a step over. It was just a little, and he's gone.
Sorry, what was that?
I mean, and Hincapié, you think of Piero Hincapié, and he had a good season with Arsenal. You're thinking that this is a guy that can defend 1v1 situations, and he's gone. It happened often. Very often, certainly in the first half, and it happened again in the second half, and the goal comes from that as well. The 1v1 defending of Ecuador has to be able to address even a guy like Yan Diomande, as difficult as that may be. Why do I say that? Because if you're struggling to score goals on the other side, you have to keep it or
to do well
on your side, on your defensive half, in order to have an opportunity to win the match. They did not that, and then they did not do that, and then give Ivory Coast the credit that they deserve in the sense that they took advantage of the opportunity. It was a really good finish from Amad Diallo. A finish that could have been taken the same way by Nicolas Pepe in the first half, which he did not. Ecuador will think back to the post that they hit, but I think more so than anything is the fact that they just don't create enough chances. And when they do, they don't put them away. It keeps Ivory Coast around. They scored a goal, 1-0, 3 points. See you guys later.
Referee Sean Evans has come under scrutiny following his use of a potentially xenophobic hand signal ahead of Germany's 7-1 victory over Curaçao. Our sports news correspondent Geraint Hughes took us through the incident earlier and why FIFA are trying to handle the situation as carefully as possible.
Sean Evans was one of the VAR officials, and people who are watching games may get used, just before kick-off, you get a shot on the pitch of the officials who are actually at the stadium. Then you get a shot of the VAR officials who are not at the stadiums. They're back in Dallas, which is the hub for VAR during this World Cup. And Sean Evans, an Australian referee, he was part of the VAR team, and he made a gesture, essentially where he puts his finger and his thumb together, forming a circle with the rest of his fingers pointing downwards. Now, three potential answers to this. First of all, it's been noted by a number of organisations that this could be a fairly discriminatory messaging that he was making. It could be a symbol that represents white supremacy. Then you go to the other scale of this. You could go to a completely far more innocent explanation, is that it's actually back in Australia, is widely used in a children's prank game called Circle Game, which is a prank. So look at where we've gone from one end, where it could be very, very serious, to something which is a bit of a prank. The other thing, he might have not even realised he was doing it.
Referee Sean Evans has come under scrutiny following his
with all that possession in the first half, their main striker, Stevie, Ayazabal, when they went to the drinks break in the middle of the first half, had not touched the ball once. Wow. That's incredible. That tells you they're going from side to side to side. They're poking it around. Because had you told me the Cape Verde striker hadn't touched the ball, I'd have been okay with that. I'd have said, yeah, well, I'm kind of expecting that. But I'm not expecting my main striker, whether you agree he should be in that team or not, and he certainly has led the line for Spain in the last year or two, hadn't got a touch of the ball, going to the drinks break. I'd have been going nuts if that was me. I'd have been embarrassed. But that typified the Spanish performance. There was no prodding and guile. It was somebody else take the chance, somebody else take the chance. And it allowed Cape Verde to get, as Stevie said, in a great defensive position. They made it easy for them. So it's given the Spanish coach, I think, a lot of food for thought. He had to bring 2 players on he didn't want to, but particularly Lamine Yamal, who we don't know about the hamstring, how it will stand up. That's a worry. And B, Ferran Torres, who plays through the middle when he plays for Barcelona playing wide, does he put him in for Ayazabal and bring Dani Olmo in and take an extra midfielder out to give them better balance and a better threat? So he's got some thinking to do. I mean, they'll get through the group, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But he's got some thinking to do in terms of the balance of that team in the final third, because it just did not look right.
Well, Cape Verde have shown everybody else how to play against this Spanish team. And that is, you just give them the wide areas. Because if Williams and Yamal are not fit, then what you do is you leave Cucurella with it and you're empty. And that was their problem today. They probably had more of the ball, those 2 players, than anybody else on the field. Because Cape Verde just blocked up the middle, and so all the space was in the wide areas. And so you don't want your fullbacks being your playmakers. And that's pretty much what happened today.
They definitely had more of the ball than Oyarzabal did in the first 30 minutes, as Craig's just demonstrated there, telling us the stats on that one. You have to go way back to find when that had happened before. What does that say to you?
Listen, if I'm Llorente, I'm thinking, hold on a minute. Let's look at this in perspective. When your centre forward doesn't touch the ball in the penalty box, that's a problem. But at the same time, how are you supposed to get the ball to your centre forward when you've probably got 12, 14, 15 players in and around there, and the only space is wide? So,
but he didn't touch it in any. He didn't touch it in.
No, I know, but
in any part of the field. So you've got. Well, I know it's difficult, but you can't. I mean,
if I'm Llorente, I'm saying this is a different kettle of fish. This is not going to happen again, in my opinion. Because I don't think you can sit down rationally and say, well, we need to do this, we need that. Because you're not going to play against this again, I don't believe, in the rest of the tournament. I think you have to push this one aside and say, this is one of those games. And unfortunately, as I said before, the 2 fullbacks end up being your playmakers. I kind of feel for Ayazabal. At the same time, we're talking about Spain, we're talking about a team that's supposed to be favourites to win it. You do expect somebody to make
that's not really his fault that he hasn't, unless he stood there like a stooge and not moved.
It's tough on him.
It's more about Spain. And the other question going forward is, what's the mindset going into the next 2 games? Does he feel, the coach, that he has to play Lamine Yamal? Because if he does, and he plays him, and the mental side of Lamine Yamal is, I've trained and I'm fit, but I haven't had that 100%, 30, 40, 50-yard sprint. And only when that happens do you know where you are with a hamstring. And if something was to happen, the coach is going to get battered.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one for him because he doesn't want any more dodgy results.
Very much the former Real Madrid man James Rodriguez and former Liverpool player now of Bayern Munich, Luis Diaz. The referee, a very well-known name, Anthony Taylor, England's very own, puts the whistle to his lips, and away we go in the Azteca, the second game in Group K after it ended Portugal 1, DR Congo 1 earlier. It's Uzbekistan, ranked 50th in the world, against Colombia, ranked 13th in the world. Charlie Adam and Lee Blakeman, your commentary team, here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The ball goes straight through to the Colombia keeper, and it's whacked long as we see Uzbekistan line up in all white. As for Colombia, I'm just trying to think of a way of describing their kit colour.
Well, what
bluish green with a bit of yellow on it.
Yeah, what they have got in the stands is a lot of yellow, and that's the colour that they bring it. But yeah, it looks at it's a new kit for them, wearing this sort of away kit for them, and opportunity now for Uzbekistan to put the ball in the box. It was a push in the back by Lukemi, the centre back of Colombia.
And Fazulayev will line up this free kick midway inside the Colombia half to the right of centre. He stands over the ball with his right foot, and Nasrallah stands over it with his left. So an early opportunity here inside the first 90 seconds for Uzbekistan to whip the ball into the Colombia penalty area from a set piece. Colombia goalkeeper Vargas on his toes here. Fazulayev sends it in towards the penalty spot. Ball headed up into the air, headed sideways, not really clear. Will it fall on this near side for Luis Diaz for Colombia? Ball goes out into touch for a throw-in. Delivery there as it was aimed towards the penalty spot, Charlie. Wasn't too bad from Uzbekistan.
No, it's a great delivery with his right foot. It was the perfect area. Just the Puerta did well to actually head the ball and get it away, but no, it was a decent enough delivery.
A Colombia football jersey in away colours with Climacool technology for cool, dry play. A celebration of Colombia's biodiversity and a reflection of their national pride. It's a design by the manufacturer just to represent the country's history, and they've certainly done it with an array of turquoise, navy blue and bright fluorescent yellow. The socks are absolutely superb. The socks, bright yellow, match Anthony Taylor's shirt. Caribbean Sea and the darker shades of the Pacific Ocean. So there's a lot of thought when it's come to the colours which have gone into this kit, and we're seeing the colours of Colombia on the ball at the moment as they move forwards down the right with Gustavo Puerta. Moves the ball in field to the Crystal Palace man, Jefferson Lerma. He plays the ball forwards. Munoz can't get there down the right. Just a little bit too much on that one, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Uzbekistan. 3 minutes played, Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 0. But both teams with chances to get the ball forwards early on.
Yeah, it was good play from Lerma. They're trying to penetrate in behind. It's easy, you know, just to keep the ball going side to side, but he tried to force it and try to play over the top to Munoz. What that does is it actually drops the defenders off, and then it'll allow Lerma, Puerta to get on the ball and then make things happen. So clever play at the start, because Uzbekistan dropping into that sort of 5-4-1 into position, just trying to nullify that Colombian sort of threat and attack, and then allowing them in front of them, just allowing them to have the ball in front and protecting the space. But switching play for Colombia is going to be key.
Puerta with a long raking pass from right to left, looking for Luis Diaz, intercepted by Uzbekistan. Colombia throw taken quickly by Luis Diaz. His numbers over the past season have been absolutely brilliant. What a first season with Bayern. 26 goals and 19 assists to help them to a domestic double. Brilliant first season, Luis Diaz. We'll come back to him in just a second, but Colombia are on the attack at the moment with John Lukumi. Ball out to the left to the aforementioned former Liverpool man. Works the ball onto his right foot, but the referee Anthony Taylor has pulled play back for a Colombia free kick because of a foul in there. So Colombia will have a free kick to the left of centre, about 25 yards out, and it was Johan Majica who was clattered there in the build-up.
Yeah, it's good play from Colombia, and that's what they're trying to. They're trying to move the ball as quick as they can through Lukimi, because it's the opposite centre-back's always going to be the spare player. It'll be 2 against 1 in the build-up, and you'll see the 2 full-backs will be in the sort of pockets, and that's where the foul come from. Majica getting on the half-turn and laying out to Diaz, and just got fouled there.
James Rodriguez stands over this free kick. It's inside left. The angle's against him for the shot, so it's going to be a left-footed cross from Rodriguez, who stands over this ball with his left foot. 5 played on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 0. What can he do here? James Rodriguez with the ball in towards the 6 yards area. Goalkeeper Yusupov comes, punches it away. Thought he could have got 2 hands on that, but it was a decisive punch, and then the ball is cleared away down the Uzbekistan left by Otabek Shukarov, and it goes deep into the Colombia half. Going back to Luis Diaz, though, who I mentioned a few moments ago, those great numbers this season for Bayern Munich. You were surprised he left Liverpool to go there in the first place.
Yeah, and I get it, the age he is, that they maybe thought about trying to get maximum value for him now, but how the sort of season folded for Liverpool, I thought that he was a real bright spark in terms of the season before, being able to go. But yeah, I was surprised. I think he's a wonderful player. He can make things happen, scores goals. There's a lot of good work off the ball for the team as well. So that was an interesting one from Liverpool. But you know, now they're rebuilding again under a new manager. So he has a wonderful season under Vincent Kompany and Bayern Munich, and you know, it was a great move for him to obviously go to Bayern.
And we've already seen early on in this game lots of out balls to the Colombia left, looking to pick out Luis Diaz at every given opportunity. 6 minutes played, 0-0. This match 24 of 104 at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Full commentary of 92 of those on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, all 104 covered. So match 24, just another 80 to go then.
Yeah, but what, we a weekend?
Nearly, not quite.
So it's amazing how quick it's gone, isn't it? The amount of games we've had, 24 games, 104 games to you know, 80 odd to go. It's an amazing tournament. Obviously, the expansion of the World Cup for me is obviously, I think, is a good thing. But because ultimately a lot of people will go against it and say, well, I'm not too sure about it. But the results have said that.
Faisal Layev on the attack here for Uzbekistan. He's been brought down on the edge of the penalty area, and referee Anthony Taylor has brandished a yellow card for the first time for that foul by Johan Mahika. So yellow card for him for Colombia, and it's going to be a free kick to Uzbekistan, wide on the right, about 22 yards from the byline. Harsh to go with the yellow there, Charlie. I suppose he's looking at the arm going across the midriff, but the first real one?
Yeah, no, I get it. It's Anthony Taylor setting the tone, real marker, but he doesn't deal with the diagonal ball. He's got to get out quicker and stop that. He allows the winger to go by him, and then obviously once he goes by him, he's in trouble and he has to pull him down. So, no, I think it's good refereeing from Anthony.
Faisal Layev, who won the free kick, is going to take it. Stands over the ball with his right foot. It is exactly 20 yards from the byline. He whips it in. It hits the one-man wall of Luis Diaz. Balloons up into the air. Corners prevented, and instead Uzbekistan have to settle for a throw. I mentioned it during the opener. Their first World Cup, but worth pointing out, Uzbekistan, they would have qualified even if it was still a 32-team tournament rather than this expanded 48-team format, because of how impressive they were in qualifying. Just one defeat in their 16 qualifying matches. So whether it be 32 or 48, we would be watching Uzbekistan play in the 2026 World Cup anyway. A phenomenal achievement.
Yeah, amazing. But again, looking at Kuzanov, he's probably setting the tone now for younger players of Uzbekistan to go and show them that the dream can come true, to come and play in the Premier League. It's a real opportunity for young players from Uzbekistan to go and have a career now, and you know, being at a World Cup actually puts them on show as well.
Well, we saw it in the build-up to that free kick, and we've just seen it again down the left while Charlie was talking. Good build-up play from Uzbekistan. Just in the opening 9 minutes of this game, though, what we are seeing is when they get to the final third, Uzbekistan, Colombia do have total control. Until then, in the wide areas and certainly at the back, looking very solid and very creative. They've just lost the ball up top here, and Colombia have it amongst their back four.
Yeah, again, for Uzbekistan, Colombia in 4-4-2 block, so they're looking mid-block. They're just looking to try and switch the play and trying to get that ball. Again, there you go, Lerma trying to get that switch to Diaz as quick as they can. They're looking for Diaz all the time, Colombia, but going through Uzbekistan, the 2 6s of Shurikov and Mozgiov, it's important that they keep rotating the ball and they keep getting it as wide as they can, as quick as they can, and then that gives them the opportunity to have maybe overloads in the wide areas.
Just seen a shot of Gianni Infantino in the stands at the Azteca. I mentioned this the other night when we were on commentary. He has got absolutely everywhere. This is match 24. Based on all of the games that I've seen, along with the highlights packages, he must have ticked off 20, because he was at the Portugal game in this group earlier tonight. That was in... where was that game? That was in Houston, the Portugal game. And now you've got this game here in the Azteca in Mexico. So he's missed the England game in between. He's clocking up the miles, isn't he, the FIFA president?
Yeah, it's... wonder if he's got Mr. Trump's private jet available.
You wonder. He certainly won't be travelling.
It's what you have to do to put these tournaments on, to go and show what, you know, for FIFA it's a major tournament, and to be able to go there and be at most games, it's a real privilege for the president to do that. But I think it's been a good World Cup. I think we've seen real quality, but also we've had some real top moments from individual players.
It has been a tournament of real quality and great games so far. Don't say that to Efan Akoku and Jonathan Pearce, though, who were commentating on the Ghana-Panama game on 5 Live and BBC Sounds before we came on. Described as one of the more dull games of the tournament. If you are joining us late, by the way, a recap of the games. It ended Portugal 1, DR Congo 1 earlier. England beating Croatia 4-2 in the main game of the night. Then it was that game just before we came on, Ghana with a stoppage time winner to beat Panama by 1-0. Terrific for Ghana, but by all accounts not so terrific for the neutral. Didn't come across as a classic. The ball with Colombia over on the far side, their right at the moment. Gustavo Puertas over there, moves the ball to James Rodriguez in the centre circle. He keeps it going. Johan Majica, who's on that yellow card, sends it across towards the D as Colombia go on the attack. No nonsense defending by Uzbekistan, the kind of defending that their manager Fabio Cannavaro would be very proud of. Don't mess about with it in the penalty area, get it as far as you can downfield away.
Yeah, he does well there. It was actually a poor touch from Puerta, but good defending from Uzbekistan. Again, looking to try to get it wide. Diaz sometimes playing on the outside, sometimes he's playing, so if he's on the outside, it looks like Majica's on the inside, and if he's on the outside, Majica, then Diaz is in between the sort of right centre back and right back, and then that's causing him problems because ultimately the right wing back can't then jump to the fullback, so it's giving the space for the fullback to step on like we've seen there, and Majica then actually put the cross in the box, but it was a poor touch from Puerta.
Well, he's just lost the ball there, Luis Diaz, as Colombia came on the attack down the left. Let's see what they can muster up this time as Lerma wins the ball back. He gives it to Majica. Need to get that pronunciation right. Johan Majica is how that name is pronounced. It was actually named after Johan Cruyff because his parents were massive fans, apparently, but he's pronounced with a solid J. Johan Majica, the only player of this game on a yellow card so far. They're on the other side at the moment. Colombia down their right as the ball was played over to Daniel Munoz of Crystal Palace, but he was caught offside by the English officiating team, led by Anthony Taylor, also containing Gary Bezic and Adam Nunn. 0-0 in the Azteca with 13 minutes on the clock. Neither goalkeeper tested so far, but as games go, it's been fairly open, this, hasn't it? It's been a case of you attack or you attack. Colombia trying to do that at the moment, and they draw foul in the midfield, free kick.
Yeah, but it's just starting to now get control. I said that two in midfield of Colombia starting to get control of it. Rodriguez starting to drop down now to get on it, and now they're starting to make moments. You could see Diaz looking to try and running behind. That's really important for Colombia. With that back five, they need people to run in behind, and then it'll open up the space for other people, but it's Colombia all control with the ball, but not really penetrated. Again, go back to that other decision there with Munoz. He's looking across the line. It's lazy attacking plays. He's looking across the line, gets caught offside. That's not what they need. They need width from that right wing back because Rodriguez is playing inside, where Diaz on the opposite side will be the one that looks like he'll give the width to Colombia.
Well, Luis Diaz is just cut in from the left on his right foot midway inside the Uzbekistan half. Wanted a foul, or wanted a free kick for a foul, nothing doing, and as a result Uzbekistan come forwards here on the counter. Faizalayev's ball in, left a little bit to be desired, overhit, goal kick to Colombia. They're not too happy that they didn't get a free kick down the other end though, but just another kind of message, as if Colombia needed reminding. These look dangerous, Uzbekistan, on the counter. Certainly when he gets on the ball, the number 22, Abuzbek Faizalayev.
Faizalayev, yeah, again, just that sort of poor end quality at the top end of the pitch, but Shurmadov is just dropping deep, picking up the scraps, getting second balls, and then they're counter-attacking quickly. The two wide ones of Uzbekistan look quick, so again, that's something that Colombia have to be wary of, is that they don't be up to transition here, because that's what might give them a problem.
Long ball over the top by Colombia. Luis Suarez gives chase, not that one, doesn't get there anyway, ahead of goalkeeper Utkir Yusupov. The Luis Suarez in question plays for Sporting, first capped in 2020, waited 5 years for his first start and scored 4 times in 25 minutes in a 6-3 win against Venezuela on his debut, made him the first player to score 4 times in a South American World Cup qualifier since the other Luis Suarez did it back in in 2011. Well, he's not scored 4 times in the opening 15 minutes here because it's still 0-0, but he just showed there, Luis Suarez, lightning pace in behind if the ball's right to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It just got away from him, but again, looking that threat, looking to run in behind, but he's got a big name to back it up with, because Suarez of Uruguay was a special player.
Now we've got a problem here with the Uzbekistan goalkeeper. He's just had a very soft collision with Kusanov, hers Yusupov, and the goalkeeper is just receiving some treatment. Goalkeeper wearing all orange. Physio's just been on, back on his feet. I mean, that is, as collisions go, I think we had more aggression in our handshake earlier when we met up, didn't we?
Absolutely, but again, just taking the sting out of the game. That's what, talking about momentum of the game, where Colombia really starting to get under a bit of pace, trying to get on the ball as quick as they can, but there's moments like that you need to try and use it, because obviously they can't take the goalkeeper off.
And you can see why they're trying to take the sting out of it with that little incident involving the goalkeeper there, Uzbekistan, because Colombia is starting to look more and more threatening as they come forwards here with a shot from distance, and it's hit the side netting from John Arias. For a second I thought that was the other side of the post. He picked it up, hit it from about 25 yards out that time. John Arias on his right foot to the right of centre. It was curling, goalkeeper was at full stretch, but as the net bulged, the curling shot went into the side of it, not far away at all from the former Wolves man.
No, it was it was Puerta there winning the ball back in the middle of the pitch and get sunned, and it was a brilliant shot from Arias, and he just on that left hand side just hits it into the side of the netting, but dangerous play for Colombia.
That's the closest we've come to an opening goal in this Group K game so far. Earlier it ended Portugal 1, DR Congo 1 in the other game in this group. 0-0 here, Uzbekistan and Colombia in the Azteca, 5 minutes away from the first hydration break. Wasn't looking, the temperature that I saw pre-match wasn't looking too bad. It was about 21, 22 degrees, so we'll see how badly needed the hydration break is in just a second. Here come Colombia again, though, starting to move through the gears. Munoz with a low cross in towards Suarez, defended well, and that goes behind for a corner, according to referee Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, it was again good play from the striker Suarez to get across the front and making Abdulev to block that at the front post.
Yeah, Munoz, good low ball in, good move all round really. Started off by Arias to the right to Munoz, low cross in, but Suarez was well marshalled. Corner sent in, left-footed towards the back post. Lerma, ball loose inside the 6 yards area, hooked away in the nick of time by Uzbekistan, and they clear the ball towards the halfway line where Gustavo Puerta will pick the ball up. It's, for the last couple of minutes, been wave after wave of a Colombia attack after a Colombia attack. Here's John Lukumi, the centre-half, gives it to Puerta again, just on the edge of the centre circle left side, picked up by Johan Majica. Davinson Sanchez, the former Spurs centre-half, has it. Was there for a long time. I didn't realise how long Davinson Sanchez, by the way, was actually at Tottenham Hotspur. More than 200 appearances for them between 2017 and 2023, having joined them for £42 million from Ajax. Didn't realise he played that much football for Spurs.
Yeah,
rock of a centre-half.
Yeah, played a lot at centre-back for Spurs, and now moved on to sort of Galatasaray, but it's Colombia trying to move the ball as quick as they can. Rodriguez now getting into places where, you know, if let's say Munoz is maybe dropping deep and Rodriguez going and playing wide, because then that's the fullback not allowing him to, can't get out to jump to Munoz. So really clever play from Colombia now.
Colombia coming down the centre this time with their latest attack, looking to pick out the run of Luis Diaz with a through ball, goes all the way through to goalkeeper Ukia Yusupov to put that goalkeeper's name into perspective. I've said it quite a lot in the opening 20 minutes of the game here. The goalkeeper for Colombia have not mentioned at all Camilo Vargas, who's established himself as their first choice, and that's because Uzbekistan have really struggled to do anything in the final third of the field.
Yeah, but listen, you understand that again. It's keep talking about, it's making sure that you get the right distance, not allowing Colombia to play in between the lines of you. But if you get a good shape and organisation, you let them have the ball in front of you, then that's important, because you can, like you say, you can win games when you with good organising, good shape. they've got pace at the top end of the pitch, which gets them an opportunity to get out. So no, I think Uzbekistan will be, you know, pleased in where they are. I think they'll come into the game knowing that, you know, they're not going to have lots of the ball, but when they do get it on turnover, they need to have real quality to really hurt the Colombians.
Well, they just played a long ball forwards there down the right, did Uzbekistan, with Karimov looking for their run of their captain and record-leading goal scorer Shomorodov. Too much on it, and the ball carried all the way through to goalkeeper Vargas. Colombia have the ball inside their own half, 0-0. Uzbekistan and Colombia. I mentioned a few moments ago it took until stoppage time for a winning goal in our previous commentary here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Ghana beat Panama by a 1-0. The way Colombia are playing in the early part of this opening quarter, as dirty as I feel saying quarter for a game of football, it doesn't feel like we'll have to wait that long for the opening goal in the Azteca. We'll wait and see as they come down the left here. Arias, edge of the penalty area, rolls the ball back. Here's James Rodriguez, 25 yards out to the left of centre, right next to Anthony Taylor. Plays the ball to the right to Munoz of Palace, and now his club teammate Jefferson Lerma will take over. Turns the full 360 before going back to Lukumi. And now Luis Diaz is moved from the left to the centre. Ball out to the right. First time cross goes in. Wild behind. Goal kick to Uzbekistan. And it's like we were saying at the start of the commentary, Charlie, here. As dominant as Colombia are on the ball, if Uzbekistan can stay well drilled, well organised and solid, they could make life tricky for Colombia, and that is exactly what we're seeing here, a really well-drilled back line.
Yeah, and it's important that, you know, they don't get between the lines and they don't be able to, you know, 5-4-1, they narrow that 4 and they force it wide. Again, there, Puerta, poor cross, but, you know, Uzbekistan be happy with their shape, their organisation, because what is happening is that what you can do is that if there is players in the pockets, your outside centre-backs can actually jump into the pocket, and then your sort of covering full-back can then make you a back 4. So it gives you that time to be able to then be aggressive into the sort of areas there.
Midway point of the first half. Drinks, I can say. We're not doing cricket, we are doing football, but it is the hydration break. Speaking of the cricket, by the way, England's second test against New Zealand got underway at Trent Bridge yesterday. New Zealand closing on 291 for 7. You can hear day 2 on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds from 11 o'clock with Jonathan Agnew and the Test Match Special Team. The Women's T20 World Cup continues on Thursday night. West Indies against Scotland, live on Sports Extra 2 from 6:30, and you can hear coverage of day 3 of Royal Ascot on Thursday afternoon, this afternoon, as it is now on Sports Extra 2 as part of BBC Sounds. John Hunt and the team on air from Ascot at 2 o'clock. So aside from the World Cup, plenty of other sport to keep you entertained over the next 24 hours on 5 Live and the Sports Extra channels. Next live game for you after this one, by the way, so that will be game number 25 of this 2026 World Cup. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff Thursday afternoon, this afternoon. Czech Republic against South Africa with Dean Smith and Ian Dennis. At the moment, we are a quarter of the way into this game in Group K. Uzbekistan against Colombia. Not too much to get us excited in the way of goal-mouth action, Charlie, but as a game as a whole, what have you made of it so far?
Yeah, no, to be fair, it's good to see what Colombia are trying to do in terms of their build, trying to get it wide, force it and then get runs, but also, again, making sure that they're dominant with the ball, but keeping speed in the ball. If they just keep it laboured and it's slow, then it's easy for Uzbekistan to get back into shape. It's important that when they go and penetrate, they penetrate quickly. But yeah, your Diaz's and Arias, they're going floating and just trying to get into pick-up position where they feel like they can hurt Uzbekistan. So it's important that Uzbekistan are organised, they're rigid, they don't move up too much away from the shape, because if they do, they'll get picked off. But yeah, I think Colombia will be happy with how they started the game.
When you mention Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez there, if you're Fabio Cannavaro, the Uzbekistan manager who's just been giving a team talk on this near side during this hydration break, you would be very, very pleased how Kusanov and the rest of that back line have taken those two out of the game, really, because Diaz has been in and out, but when it comes to threat in front of goal, he's offered very little.
No, absolutely, again, but that's that sort of organisation, the shape, ready, when you can go, when you can press, when you can jump out your slot. But it's important, if you do jump in your slot, that the full-backs are covering, and because of that back 4. So It's really, really good that communication's key. The distance between the backline, midfield. Even now you're seeing Shomurodov, the striker, he's even dropping back as well. So they're playing against 10 men, you know, in that back, you know, 5-4-1, and they've got to then play around them, which is then becomes difficult. And then they go into wide areas, and it's about quality of crosses or combinations in the wide area.
The game restarts. 3 minutes of a hydration break gone just like that, and we are back underway for the rest of the second half. Oh, as the goalkeeper Vargas was very nearly closed down there as he was trying to play the ball out of his 6 yards area. Uzbekistan very nearly presented with an opportunity, but instead the ball goes out for a throw over on the far side. Charlie just mentioned Eldor Shomurodov, their captain and record goal scorer, 44 goals in his 91 Uzbekistan caps, 5 goals and 5 assists in 15 qualifiers. So he's got the ability to cause Colombia all kinds of problems if Uzbekistan can get the ball to him up top, and that has been the key thing that they've struggled with in the opening quarter of this game. Ball with Colombia on the halfway line with James Rodriguez. He goes back to Davinson Sanchez as part of that back four that also contains Munoz of Palace, Johan Mejica and John Lukumi in front of goalkeeper Vargas. Then it's Lerma of Palace and Puerta playing as a 2 behind Arias, Rodriguez and Luis Diaz. Luis Suarez, who has looked threatening in front of goal with great pace, playing as the main Colombia striker.
Yeah, so again, they're looking at Colombians trying to get 2 at the back of the 2 midfielders of Uzbekistan to try and get that overload in midfield. Because they're playing with the sort of 2 6s, then they've got 1 and then they've got 3 in behind. So really important that they get that sort of good quality with the ball to be going full back in through the number 8 of Colombia to then get it out the other side, because Diaz is hugging that touchline. He's desperate for the ball to come out here, because that's where you want your wingers. You want them 1v1. Diaz will want to go on the outside, but it's good movement from Diaz and him and Mejica not playing on the same line at times, which is really important.
Luis Diaz trying to keep the ball, nearly committed a foul there. Uzbekistan come away with it down the centre. Shukurov to the left to Nasralayev. He hits one long towards Shomurodov, the man whose stats I just gave to you a few moments ago. Very sharp looking haircut, headband on display, something we never saw Charlie Adam wear, whether he was playing for Liverpool, Stoke City or Blackpool. Never ever.
Lee, I was very fortunate enough in that my hair never grew as long as that, and I never had to do that, and that's why I've got no hair now. So now different styles for different players, but you know, the big guy at the top end of the pitch he's got a tough night, and he's going to need his team at times to be able to hold it up for them, to get them a platform to play and get up the pitch. But 91 caps, it's an incredible achievement.
That said, though, talking to Charlie Adam at Stoke City, I mentioned earlier the number 17 for Colombia, Johan Mejica, says his parents named him after Johan Cruyff. I do know a family of Stoke fans who had a child about 10 years ago and they named him Charlie after their favourite midfielder.
Well,
I thought they would have gone with Glenn personally after Glenn Whelan, but they didn't.
Yeah, they know their players, but yeah, it's a tough act to follow, isn't it, after Johan Cruyff?
It is no pressure if we're naming you after Johan Cruyff.
Yeah.
Long ball hit forwards as Colombia look to try and pick out Gustavo Puerta on the edge of the penalty area. Referee Anthony Taylor has seen something that he doesn't like. I would have given a high boot there against the Uzbekistan defender. Instead, Anthony Taylor giving the free kick in favour of Uzbekistan on the edge of their penalty area, and they will build again from the back with a good outball from the goalkeeper Yusupov to the left to Nasralayev. He hits the ball long that time towards one of the front 3, Urinov, but it's tidied up at the back by Colombia, and they will come away with the ball down the centre of the field with Jefferson Lerma. He works the ball to his left to Lukumi as Colombia move over the halfway line. Luis Diaz gets yet another touch. Ball on this near side with the aforementioned Johan Mejica. They lose the ball and Karamov will come clear with it for Uzbekistan, and now here's a chance, edge of the penalty area as Shomurodov looks to try and get in, marshalled well by Lukumi. He gives it to Munoz, who gets clattered. It will be a free kick to Colombia in their right back area, but that's the clearest sight at goal that Uzbekistan have had, and it come thanks to a good through ball to their main talisman.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they're looking dangerous on that counter-attack. Karamov is wins it and drives with the ball, but Lukumi just had the pace and power to get back and get it away from Sharmadov. It was a good opportunity for Uzbekistan to break quickly, and they just didn't have that real bit of quality in the end. But yeah, showing little signs that if you don't have that right good organisation, when you lose it, they'll counter-attack quickly. But yeah, much better from Uzbekistan.
Shomurodov just trying to split the two centre-halves there, Lukumi and Davinson Sanchez, and run in between the two of them. Just didn't quite have the strength and pace required to do it as he cut in onto his left foot from his right. It was a decent opportunity, but the centre-halves always look to have control of the situation. Now here come Colombia down the other end, down the right with Daniel Munoz wearing those bright pink boots, the Crystal Palace defender. He goes back to Sanchez, long raking ball through the air from right to left to the head of Luis Diaz, heads it in field, but it's an easy clearance for the Manchester City defender Kusanov. They play the ball downfield, Uzbekistan. Colombia will tidy up and go all the way back to their goalkeeper wearing all purple, Camilo Vargas, and they build again from the back now with Davinson Sanchez. 31.5 minutes gone in the Azteca, the Mexico City Stadium. Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and it's Arias with the latest attack. He plays the ball forwards. Luis Diaz with the effort, hits the inside of the post. Ball comes back out. Uzbekistan will scramble the ball clear, but Luis Diaz, inches away from opening the scoring, worked it onto his left foot, shot hard and low across goal, and it came back off the inside of the post. Ball still live as it's played forward by Lerma. Will go out into touch for an Uzbekistan throw in their left back area, but that was a big chance as the ball was played through. What an opportunity for Luis Diaz there. Just looks like he snatches at it slightly, Charlie.
Oh, that's a brilliant save. We see it again like on the TV. What a save it is from the goalkeeper Yusupov. It's a great ball from Arias, cuts on the inside, slides down Diaz on the back of Kusanov, and he has a shot with his left foot, and actually the goalkeeper touches it onto the inside of their post. It's a brilliant save, but again, Colombia now starting to look really dangerous.
Colombia playing the ball in towards the feet of Luis Suarez this time, back to goal edge of the penalty area. Uzbekistan wise to that, and Colombia will come down their right. One pass too many that was overhit, and it goes out for an Uzbekistan throw midway inside their own half on the far side, the Uzbekistan left. What an opportunity though for Luis Diaz, exactly the man you'd want on the ball in exactly that position. Did everything right, and just looking at the replay there, you bang on. Yusupov, the goalkeeper, with the faintest of touches with his fingertips. Absolutely superb goalkeeping as Luis Diaz comes forwards down the left again, plays the ball into space. Has he given himself too much to do? The two players actually go clattering into the cameraman on this near side. Now Diaz has gone down injured, the cameraman's certainly gone down injured. He's going to need some treatment on this near side. Both players were going at full pelt. It was basically a give and go to himself there. Diaz hit it long, he gave chase, got clattered by Kusanov, and both of them went clattering into the man holding the camera on this near side. Nasty collision that, Charlie.
Yeah, he's caught him badly there, Kusanov, and he actually goes in and takes the cameraman out as well. Is that 2 yellow cards you should get for that? But no, it was just what a lovely turn of pace. That the cameraman looks like he's struggling here, but it's a lovely turn of pace from Diaz there. And Kusanov just basically put him in the stands. It was.
He took everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ball, player,
man, and cameraman.
And as much as we joke, the cameraman still receiving some treatment on this near side. Looks to be in some discomfort. Free kick's going to be swung in from the Colombia left. I'd love to be able to tell you what happens, but we're a cameraman down. As James Rodriguez sends in the free kick towards the back post, ball balloons up into the air. Foul on the goalkeeper anyway, but Yusupov there with a good take. He's clearly full of confidence given that save from Diaz a few moments ago there, being clattered by Lerma.
Yeah, because the first one he come for, he punched it, and it was a poor punch, but yeah, looks a confident goalkeeper. But again, that was a lovely save from that shot from Diaz on his left hand side, and Yusupov gets a faintest of touches onto the post. But now Kusanov's on that yellow card, it gives him, worry now when he's up against Diaz or Mahika in that sort of pocket. Maybe you've got to realise that, tune in, don't make silly fouls and cost your team, because it's hard enough with 10 men. You don't want to be going down to 9 outfield players.
Anthony Taylor's just having to have a word with the goalkeeper Yusupov here about something. Doesn't look best pleased, the English referee. I think he just wants the game to continue as quickly as possible. Just having another look at the replay of that challenge from Kusanov on Diaz. You hear the expression used, take everything out. Good grief, that was full pelt, both players running maximum speed. That poor cameraman must be wondering what on earth hit him when Kusanov goes clattering into him.
Yeah, he took everything. He took the full kitchen sink with Diaz and the cameraman, but hopefully the cameraman's okay. He looks like he's in a bit of trouble, but it was an interesting race. I thought Kusanov was favourite, but brilliant turn of pace from Diaz to get there just in front of him.
It's one of those players, Kusanov, I mentioned earlier, started 24 of Manchester City's final 31 games, hailed as exceptional by Pep Guardiola. Took a little bit of time to get going, I thought. I did a couple of his early games at Manchester City, and I was watching him, and I was thinking, I'm not quite sure, but you've just seen him grow and grow.
Yeah, no, that was the same. I've seen a couple of games for Man City as well, and I thought, was it maybe too much for the young lad? But he's grown as the season went on, and you know, when you're keeping Ruben Diaz at the team and when you're keeping John Stones at the team, it shows your performances at top level.
And when Pep is calling you exceptional, you must be doing something right.
I'm not sure he knows what he's talking about, Pep.
8.5 minutes to go until half-time on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 0 in the second game in Group K. Portugal's group, 1-1 they drew earlier on with DR Congo as Davinson Sanchez comes forwards from the back for Colombia. Ball out to the right to another well-known name in Daniel Munoz, well-known name for fans of the Premier League, of course. He's had a lot of the ball wide on the right, Munoz, in the opening stages of this game. Lakumi, the centre-half in the centre circle, plays the ball forwards, looking for Puerta, but it's cleared away by Uzbekistan, and it's back on the halfway line with Colombia. Ball out to the left to Diaz, who beats his man this time, and he's away down the left. Diaz to the edge of the penalty area. Low ball in, poor ball in. Should be dealt with eventually by Kusanov, and it is, and they will clear away Uzbekistan down their right. Early ball up towards their main striker, Shomorodov. He gets muscled off the ball, and John Arias will come away with it now for Colombia. To the edge of the penalty area, James Rodriguez, he sends in a cross, and again, not for the first time, Colombia, when they get into a good position, wide on the left or right, their crossing has been awful.
Yeah, they're getting to that sort of final point in line with the 18-yard box, and that real top quality is not there at the moment from the sort of wide areas. But Shomorodov there does brilliant against Lakumi, holds it up, buys a foul, and takes a bit of pressure off his team. Just what they need is the number 9, just being able to take the sting out of the game, because Colombia have really put a lot of pressure on between, you know, the two boxes. Well, halfway to the Uzbekistan box, but not really found that big bit of quality apart from that slide pass from Arias to Diaz. So something that they need to get better at.
Uzbekistan free kick on the halfway line, they're right. 7 minutes to go until half-time, plus 3 or 4 for stoppages, of course, as well. If you are just waking up and you are just tuning in, if you're on the early shift, hello, good morning. What you have missed while you've been asleep, England beat Croatia by 4-2, led twice in the first half, but ended up going into the half-time interval 2-2. But then 2 second-half goals saw England to a 4-2 win. All the reaction to come on 5 Live Breakfast from 6 with Rachel Burden and, of course, Rick Edwards, who is live in Los Angeles. He'll have the Football Daily for you as well with Lloyd Griffith. That will be available very shortly on BBC Sounds. And I'm sure there'll be reaction to this game briefly as well. It's going to be dominated by England, as you'd expect. At the minute, we'll be reacting to a 0-0 draw. Although, you have to say for the neutral, it's not been the worst 0-0 draw in the world. Davinson Sanchez with the ball for Colombia inside the centre circle to Lakumi, and now to Johan Mejica, who's on a yellow card on this near side. John Arias, the former Wolves man, who put a good shot into the side netting earlier on. Munoz plays the ball forwards. Now Lerma in the midfield. It hasn't been the worst 0-0 in the world, has it?
No, it's not. It's just Colombia have had a lot of the ball. Like we said before, they've got to that final point and not shown the quality that we feel like they've got with the players on show.
Here come Colombia now down the centre. Opportunity for James Rodriguez. Good block going in by Ashamatov, the centre half, and the ball falls for Colombia in the midfield. Left side with Luis Diaz. Ball over the top, flicked on and flicked in, and that is a brilliant finish by Daniel Munoz, getting on the end of a long ball forwards Crystal Palace man has Colombia's first goal at the 2026 World Cup. They lead Uzbekistan in the Azteca by a goal to nil.
Yeah, what a goal from the Colombians. It's again Diaz in that sort of half-space tour, gets on the half-turn, and Munoz running from the outside, inside the full-back and left centre-back of Uzbekistan. They don't see him coming off the back of him, and it's a lovely ball and a lovely finish outside the right foot from Munoz, and the goalkeeper had no chance.
The assist from Luis Diaz had touches of Charlie Adam about it. The way, just perfectly timed, perfectly placed, perfect amount of power, and Munoz beat the offside trap perfectly as well. That is the adjective to use there. Perfect, perfect, perfect from start to finish. Great finish with the outside of his right boot to get a powerful flick over the goalkeeper, and he deserves that, Charlie. Munoz, he's been terrific.
Yeah, he's been terrific, brilliant, but you know, he's shown real quality there from Diaz. A lovely pass, but again, Nuzarov is just, he's ball watching, and Ashmarutov is the same. He's ball watches, doesn't see that he's coming up. Munoz is coming off the back of him, where he has to, there's time and space in the ball. What they have to do is, when there's time and space, you need to drop, and he doesn't drop, and it's a perfect time ball from Diaz, and Munoz making that, and it's a lovely finish.
Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 1 with 3.5 minutes to go until half-time. Daniel Munoz has the goal. 11 goals in 108 appearances for Crystal Palace since joining them for £7 million in January 2024. That's his 4th goal in 46 caps for Colombia, and he took that really well. Luis Diaz, as Charlie was saying there, Fabio Cannavaro, the Uzbekistan manager, won't be too happy with the way his back line was completely undone there by one long ball. Yeah. But the quality of the ball from Diaz and the quality of the finish can't be dismissed there.
Yeah, it's the body shape of Uzbekistan. He's square on, he doesn't see the runner off the back of him, where, because Diaz is on the half turn, he needs to drop with him, but he doesn't, and he could just run off the back of him. But that's the first real bit of quality that we've seen from Colombia. But Munoz, I think he's been a wonderful signing for Crystal Palace since he's gone there. He's a big threat in terms of what they do, playing a back three at Palace, but now playing in sort of back four at Colombia. So again, different sort of role for him, and yeah, just a clever footballer, but he's done really well for Palace.
And it was like Luis Diaz and Daniel Munoz actually read my mind there, because I got my finger on a note in my Colombia section of stats here, which says, coming into this game, Colombia have played in 22 World Cup matches and they've never had a 0-0 draw. And literally I was about to read that stat out, and it's still standing now, 23 games in.
Yeah, again, it's just quality. There's levels, and there's you know, levels of the game, and that's top class play from the two players, just being on that same connection. Again, you get these sort of connections as a midfielder with different types of players, and they're on the same wavelength. You don't need to look, you know that runs there. Again, Munoz knows that when Diaz gets in the half turn, he's got the quality to chip that ball over the top, and you've got to make that run and he'll find you. So it's a brilliant goal from Colombia, and to be fair to them, they thoroughly deserve it, because they've dominated the game.
I was going to say, on the balance of play, 1-0 Colombia feels more than right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been a really good half for Colombia, and you know, it's a little bit nervy at the start, but you know, they know that if they turn the ball over, that Uzbekistan can cause them problems, but they have to just do what they're doing with the ball, keep moving it quickly, and then you've got that real quality at the top end of the pitch.
Well, the game before us, Ghana against Panama. In that game, Jonathan Pearce and Efan Ekoku had to wait until the 95th minute for the only goal of it. Ghana beating Panama 1-0. We had to wait until 41 in this game for Daniel Munoz to open the scoring. And as we were saying just before that goal, it has been a decent first half, considering there's not been that much in the way of goal-mouth action. Colombia have looked really good on the ball. Uzbekistan have looked threatening on the counter without ever really testing Camilo Vargas in the Colombia goal. Colombia come on the attack here down their right with Puerta. Can come in field to Rodriguez, instead picks out Davinson Sanchez, the number 23 who's forwards from centre-half. Can Colombia get a second before half-time? Shot from about 30 yards out, goes straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper as we wait to see how long's going to be added on for stoppages at the end of the half here. Did I just clock 5 minutes? I did clock 5 minutes, Charlie. Thank you very much. 5 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half in the Azteca. That shot from distance there from James Rodriguez, never causing the goalkeeper Yusupov any problems.
No, there was no problems there. But again, looking at Arias and Diaz now looking to just float everywhere, looking to try and get off the back of the two number sort of sixes of Uzbekistan, causing them problems. So, no, really good play from Diaz and Arias. They're the sort of key threats. Rodriguez looking to start floating and going and getting on the ball because they've got so much possession that they've been able to do that. So really important that the Uzbekistanis don't, you know, think about jumping out too quickly because the space in behind them will hurt them.
Ostend Uranov, though, as we just look at a replay of how close Munoz was to being offside, held the line or played the line absolutely perfectly. Any more and he would have been offside. Perfectly timed run. But
finish.
Ostend Uranov just saying down the other end for Uzbekistan, hold the line caller, because he just won his team a corner deep into stoppage time here. It's going to be swung in by Faisal Ayev. It's a decent looking delivery, headed away to the edge of the area, and then the shot was poor from Karimov. Hit it first time and completely just shanked it. Lost control of the ball. Diaz gets clattered on this near side, and here's Anthony Taylor going to reach for a yellow card here. No, just a free kick to Colombia, says the English official.
Yeah, it's Karimov just fouling Diaz, but again, he's a joy to watch when you see him in full flow, dribbling with the ball. And when you've got people like that that can dribble and get you up the pitch, it makes a huge advantage to your team. And yeah, he's a special player. Like I said earlier before, I thought it was disappointing to see him leave Liverpool, but financially they felt that it was a different one that they can get a good value from.
Crystal Palace and Daniel Munoz. He's the third Palace player to ever score at a World Cup. Mili Jedinak for Australia in 2014, then of course Daichi Kamada in Japan's draw with the Netherlands the other night. So the good headlines keep on coming for Crystal Palace at the moment. Winners of the Conference League just last month, and now one of their regular defenders on the score sheet to separate the two teams in this game. Daniel Munoz making it Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 1 as we tick towards half-time, which is 2.5 minutes of stoppage time away on 5 Live and BBC Sounds at game number 24 of 104 in this FIFA World Cup. And as Charlie was saying earlier, it might feel like there's still a long way to go with 80, but 24 games down in 6 days, they have flown by. And without wanting to sound too much like an anorak, I think I've watched 21 of those games live, as the ball is on the Colombia right at the moment with Gustavo Puerta. Colombia looking to add a second to their tally before they go off down the tunnel for the half-time break. Diaz has play switches from right to left, running at 2 Uzbekistan defenders. He rolls the ball back to James Rodriguez, looking for a 1-2 with John Arias. Instead, the ball falls for Luis Diaz. They were kind of just... They were too rich in numbers up front there, Colombia, and ended up getting in each other's way.
Yeah, it's good combination play. If it's Rodriguez not running with dribbling with the ball, it's Arias combination with Diaz there, but it's really good play. When they get in that final third, the combination now starting to go, and they're starting to get the rhythm now, Colombia.
Colombia with a corner, not really dealt with. Goalkeeper come to punch it, didn't make much contact. Shot comes in from the edge of the penalty area that time from Gustavo Puerta. That's closed down. Ball will balloon out into touch for a Colombia throw over on the far side there right, as we enter the final minute of the 5 that were added on by the officials, which, as I said earlier, led by Anthony Taylor this evening, wearing a yellow shirt, black shorts with a white flash down the side and black socks. Colombia wearing all blue and yellow, leading this game by a 1-0. 10-4 in the morning across the UK. 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the FIFA World Cup. Ball on this near side with Luis Diaz for Colombia. Loses it. Ball goes out into touch for an Uzbekistan throw on the halfway line. Taken quickly by Karimov, the man who clattered Luis Diaz a few moments ago. Uzbekistan with the ball inside their own half. Their first ever game, Uzbekistan, at a World Cup Fabio Cannavaro, their manager, won't be too disappointed with what he's seen on the whole.
No, I think you've got to be realistic in terms of what you're playing against and who you're playing against. You know, this Colombian side have got a raft of talent, and for the first time I thought, you know, yes, they've had moments in terms of with the ball. I think it could be better with the ball, but yeah, it's been a tough game, and it's really important, like you say, they don't, you know, get opened up too early.
There is the half-time whistle blown by Anthony Taylor. Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 1 in Group K. So as things stand, Colombia going top of that group at the half-time interval. A goal from Crystal Palace's Daniel Munoz is what separates the two teams. Good ball down the centre of the field from Luis Diaz, formerly of Liverpool, now of Bayern Munich. And it was a perfectly timed run by Munoz, who flicked the ball over goalkeeper Yusupov and into the back of the net. And as you were saying earlier, Charlie Adam, that's more than a fair reflection of the game, that 1-0 scoreline.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really good in terms of at times from Colombia. I think they could be better, but I would say that real bit of quality for the goal was just, you know, the elite level of Diaz and Munoz. It was a brilliant ball and a brilliant run.
Half-time in the Azteca. It is Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 1. Dotton.
Lee, thank you very much. Charlie, many thanks. We'll reconvene after half-time for the second half of the commentary. Live from the Azteca, Mexico City, it's Uzbekistan versus Colombia. It's 1-0 to Colombia so far. We'll catch up with Charlie Adam and Lee Blakeman very shortly. But first, it's 3:51. Let's get the latest headlines.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Yeah, this is BBC Radio 5 Live, the nightclub, and it's your World Cup station. Here with the headlines. England have won their opening World Cup game against Croatia. Goals by Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham and Marcus Rashford gave the Three Lions a 4-2 win. The White House has confirmed President Trump has remotely signed an agreement with Iran. An official says it's now in effect, and Iran has confirmed it's also signed the deal. According to its terms, all fighting will stop, including in Lebanon. Iran agrees not to develop a nuclear weapon.
But does he the Spanish, with all that possession in the first half, their main striker, Stevie, Ayazabal, when they went to the drinks break in the middle of the first half, had not touched the ball once. Wow. That's incredible. That tells you they're going from side to side to side. They're poking it around. Because had you told me the Cape Verde striker hadn't touched the ball, I'd have been okay with that. I'd have said, yeah, well, I'm kind of expecting that. But I'm not expecting my main striker, whether you agree he should be in that team or not, and he certainly has led the line for Spain in the last year or two, hadn't got a touch of the ball going to the drinks break. I'd have been going nuts if that was me. I'd have been embarrassed. But that typified the Spanish performance. There was no prodding and guile. It was somebody else take the chance, somebody else take the chance. And it allowed Cape Verde to get, as Stevie said, in a great defensive position. They made it easy for them. So it's given the Spanish coach, I think, a lot of food for thought. He had to bring two players on he didn't want to, but particularly Lamine Yamal, who we don't know about the hamstring, how it will stand up. That's a worry. And B, Ferran Torres, who plays through the middle when he plays for Barcelona playing wide, does he put him in for Ayazabal and bring Dani Olmo in and take an extra midfielder out to give them better balance and a better threat? So he's got some thinking to do. I mean, they'll get through the group, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But he's got some thinking to do in terms of the balance of that team in the final third, because it just did not look right.
Well, Cape Verde have shown everybody else how to play against this Spanish team. And that is, you just give them the wide areas. Because if Williams and Yamal are not fit, then what you do is you leave Cucurella with it and you're empty. And that was their problem today. They probably had more of the ball, those two players, than anybody else on the field. Because Cape Verde just blocked up the middle, and so all the space was in the wide areas. And so you don't want your fullbacks being your playmakers. And that's pretty much what happened today.
They definitely had more of the ball than Oyarzabal did in the first 30 minutes, as Craig's just demonstrated there, telling us the stats on that one. You have to go way back to find when that had happened before. What does that say to you?
Listen, if I'm Llorente, I'm thinking, hold on a minute. Just let's look at this in perspective. When your centre forward doesn't touch the ball in the penalty box, that's a problem. But at the same time, how are you supposed to get the ball to your centre forward when you've probably got 12, 14, 15 players in and around there, and the only space is wide. So,
but he didn't touch it in any. He didn't touch it.
No, I know, but
in any part of the field. So you've got. Well, I know it's difficult, but you can't. I mean,
if I'm Llorente, I'm saying this is a different kettle of fish. This is not going to happen again, in my opinion. Because I don't think you can sit down rationally and say, well, we need to do this, we need that. Because you're not going to play against this again, I don't believe, in the rest of the tournament. I think you have to push this one aside and say, this is one of those games. And unfortunately, as I said before, the two fullbacks end up being your playmakers. I kind of feel for Oyarzabal. At the same time, we're talking about Spain, we're talking about a team that's supposed to be favourites to win it. You do expect somebody to make a difference.
That's not really his fault that he hasn't, unless he stood there like a stooge and not moved.
It's tough on that.
It's more about Spain. And the other question going forward is, what's the mindset going into the next two games? Does he feel, the coach, that he has to play Lamine Yamal? Because if he does, and he plays him, and the mental side of Lamine Yamal is, I've trained and I'm fit, but I haven't had that 100%, 30, 40, 50 yard sprint. And only when that happens do you know where you are with a hamstring. And if something was to happen, the coach is going to get battered.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one for him because he doesn't want any more dodgy results. But does he risk Lamine Yamal, or does he give him another couple of weeks through this group stage to make sure he's 100% for the knockout? It's a difficult decision because not even the physios and the club doctors can tell you that a hamstring or a muscle injury is 100%.
So before the game, Stevie, Luis de la Fuente has said he's 100% ready to go, but not ready for the full 90 minutes. So obviously we saw him in this game having to come on.
Yep.
But the feeling has been in Spain that they wanted to rest him as much as possible throughout these group stages. Yep. What does he do in the next game?
I don't think he should start him. I don't believe he should start Nico Williams either. Because I think, in general, they have got more talent than anybody else in this group, regardless of where the two of them play. And if you want to win the World Cup, you need to have your best players at their best at the end of the tournament. You know, they are going to get through this group.
So what do they do to avoid happening what happened today? Why won't that happen again?
Well, because the teams they're playing against are not going to play the way Cape Verde
Saudi Arabia next, and then Uruguay after that. Uruguay?
You're not going to see another game like that. No. Uruguay are not going to sit as deep as they are. They're not going to have 5 at the back, 4 in the middle, and 1 up front. I mean, it's not going to be that. I think you have to trust your players. The manager has to trust the players he has in his squad. You pick a squad of 26 for a reason, because you need to use them all because of the conditions, because of the amount of games, because of injuries, because of suspensions. You have to trust your boys. You can't, after one game and a bad result and a shock result against Cape Verde, throw everything and gamble and start playing Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams right off the bat, just because you get a surprise.
That would be panic, wouldn't it?
That would, absolutely. So he has to trust the players that he brought with him. That's what he has to do in the next game.
And you want to, of course, you want to win your opening game. That would be stupid to say otherwise, but they haven't. So you have to. I think you use that a bit like Argentina used it against Saudi Arabia. Nobody thought they were going to go on to win the World Cup, but they used it. They used it as a motivation to be better. They also used it to change personnel, and that team changed and it evolved. And I think Spain have to use this as not so much rush into Lamine Yamal, but to remind the players that everybody's talking about them as favourites, but it's not just going to be a walk in the park. And that kind of performance that they put in at that pace and that tempo is just not going to cut the mustard. It's not going to be good enough. And I think a coach can use that without screaming and shouting at players, just by getting them down and saying, listen, okay, that's gone, but that's not going to win us the World Cup. So, you know, we need to be better than that. We need to do this. We need to play quicker. All that sort of stuff. We need to play forward faster, more crosses, all that sort of stuff. And Spain can use this as a leverage to say, okay, that's our bad performance, that's our sloppy performance, out the way. Not again. And I think, you know, the players will totally understand that. the Spanish, with all that possession in the first half, their main striker, Stevie, Ayazabal, when they went to the drinks break in the middle of the first half, had not touched the ball once. Wow. That's incredible. That tells you they're going from side to side to side. They're poking it around. Because had you told me the Cape Verde striker hadn't touched the ball, I'd have been okay with that. I'd have said, yeah, well, I'm kind of expecting that. But I'm not expecting my main striker, whether you agree he should be in that team or not, and he certainly has led the line for Spain in the last year or two, hadn't got a touch of the ball, going to the drinks break. I'd have been going nuts if that was me. I'd have been embarrassed. But that typified the Spanish performance. There was no prodding and guile. It was somebody else take the chance, somebody else take the chance. And it allowed Cape Verde to get, as Stevie said, in a great defensive position. They made it easy for them. So it's given the Spanish coach, I think, a lot of food for thought. He had to bring two players on he didn't want to, but particularly Lamine Yamal, who we don't know about the hamstring, how it will stand up. That's a worry. And B, Ferran Torres, who plays through the middle when he plays for Barcelona playing wide, does he put him in for Ayazabal and bring Dani Olmo in and take an extra midfielder out to give them better balance and a better threat? So he's got some thinking to do. I mean, they'll get through the group, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But he's got some thinking to do in terms of the balance of that team in the final third, because it just did not look right.
Well, Cape Verde have shown everybody else how to play against this Spanish team. And that is, you just give them the wide areas. Because if Williams and Yamal are not fit, then what you do is you leave Cucurella with it and you're empty. And that was their problem today. They probably had more of the ball, those two players, than anybody else on the field. Because Cape Verde just blocked up the middle, and so all the space was in the wide areas. And so you don't want your fullbacks being your playmakers. And that's pretty much what happened today.
They definitely had more of the ball than Oyarzabal did in the first 30 minutes, as Craig's just demonstrated there, telling us the stats on that one. You have to go way back to find when that had happened before. What does that say to you?
Listen, if I'm Llorente, I'm thinking, hold on a minute. Just let's look at this in perspective. When your centre forward doesn't touch the ball in the penalty box, that's a problem. But at the same time, how are you supposed to get the ball to your centre forward when you've probably got 12, 14, 15 players in and around there, and the only space is wide? So,
but he didn't touch it in any. He didn't touch it in.
No, I know, but
in any part of the field. So you've got. Well, I know it's difficult, but you can't. I mean,
if I'm Llorente, I'm saying this is a different kettle of fish. This is not going to happen again, in my opinion. Because I don't think you can sit down rationally and say, well, we need to do this, we need that. Because you're not going to play against this again, I don't believe, in the rest of the tournament. I think you have to push this one aside and say, this is one of those games. And unfortunately, as I said before, the two fullbacks end up being your playmakers. I kind of feel for Ayazabal. At the same time, we're talking about Spain, we're talking about a team that's supposed to be favourites to win it. You do expect somebody to make a difference.
That's not really his fault that he hasn't, unless he stood there like a stooge and not moved.
It's tough on him.
It's more about Spain. And the other question going forward is, what's the mindset going into the next two games? Does he feel, the coach, that he has to play Lamine Yamal? Because if he does, and he plays him, and the mental side of Lamine Yamal is, I've trained and I'm fit, but I haven't had that 100% 30, 40, 50-yard sprint. And only when that happens do you know where you are with a hamstring. And if something was to happen, the coach is going to get battered.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one for him because he doesn't want any more dodgy results. But does he risk Lamine Yamal, or does he give him another couple of weeks through this group stage to make sure he's 100% for the knockout? It's a difficult decision because not even the physios and the club doctors can tell you that a hamstring or a muscle injury is 100%.
So before the game, Stevie, Luis de la Fuente has said he's 100% ready to go, but not ready for the full 90 minutes. So obviously we saw him in this game having to come on.
Yep.
But the feeling has been in Spain that they wanted to rest him as much as possible throughout these group stages. Yep. What does he do in the next game?
I don't think he should start him. I don't believe he should start Nico Williams either. Because I think, in general, they have got more talent than anybody else in this group, regardless of where the two of them play. And if you want to win the World Cup, you need to have your best players at their best at the end of the tournament. You know, they are going to get through this group.
So what did they do to avoid happening what happened today? Why won't that happen again?
Well, because the teams they're playing against are not going to play the way Cape Verde play.
Saudi Arabia next, and then Uruguay after that. Uruguay?
You're not going to see another game like that. No. Uruguay are not going to sit as deep as they are. They're not going to have 5 at the back, 4 in the middle, and 1 up front. I mean, it's not going to be that. I think you have to trust your players. The manager has to trust the players he has in his squad. You pick a squad of 26 for a reason, because you need to use them all because of the conditions, because of the amount of games, because of injuries, because of suspensions. You have to trust your boys. You can't, after one game and a bad result and a shock result against Cape Verde, throw everything and gamble and start playing Yamin Yamal and Nico Williams right off the bat, just because you get a surprise.
That would be panic, wouldn't it?
That would, absolutely. So he has to trust the players that he brought with him. That's what he has to do in the next game.
And you want to, of course, you want to win your opening game. That would be stupid to say otherwise, but they haven't. So you have to use. I think you use that a bit like Argentina used it against Saudi Arabia. Nobody thought they were going to go on to win the World Cup, but they used it. They used it as a motivation to be better, and they also used it to change personnel.
1-0 at half-time, so looking to make that 5 in a row in this second half. Crystal Palace defender Daniel Munoz with the goal that separates the two teams. So Saifiev coming on at half-time, and so too Kamdarov as well. So they are the two who come on. So a double change, as I say, made by Uzbekistan at half-time. Colombia boasting lots of quality in their side. Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez, the two headline makers. Luis Suarez has looked a threat with his pace up top. We've seen Daniel Munoz and Jefferson Lerma of Crystal Palace have an impact. John Arias, formerly of Wolves, put a shot into the side netting. Another recognisable name at the heart of their back four is Davinson Sanchez. Spent 6+ years at Tottenham, making more than 200 appearances for them. Colombia on the attack at the moment down the left with Luis Diaz looking to pick out the run of Luis Suarez. Can he get there and make it stick? No, not quite. And Uzbekistan are able to clear the ball up towards the halfway line. Jefferson Lerma plays it further forwards, and the ball goes out into touch for a throw-in on the far side. Anthony Taylor's not sure which way to give the throw at the moment. It is going to go the way of Colombia, though, Charlie.
Yeah, no formation change. Still 5-2-3 for Uzbekistan, and the two lads just slotting into the position there. But I'd like to just see Uzbekistan maybe try and get a little bit more pressure on the ball, a little bit higher if they can, and not just allow Colombia just to have the ball. If they can maybe get that sort of 5-10 yards up the pitch, maybe give more pressure on the ball there. That's much better from a centre-back of Uzbekistan, putting pressure on Diaz as he gets turned, and now they're on a counter-attack.
Yeah, Uzbekistan coming away down the left with Faisal Aliyev, their set-piece man. First touch led him down, though. Colombia intercept and come away with the ball with Gustavo Puerta. Colombia making no changes at half-time, by the way. Puerta gets to midway inside the Uzbekistan half between checking and working the ball in field to James Rodriguez. And now it's John Arias for Nestor Lorenzo's Colombia. Ball to the edge of the area. Arias receives the ball back. Uzbekistan able to intercept. They try and play out from the back, inviting pressure, and they did so brilliantly that time. Shukurov invited not only the pressure but invited the challenge. In it went from John Arias, and that relieves the pressure on Uzbekistan as they have a free kick. But once again, Colombia looking threatening, whether they come forwards down the left or the right.
Yeah, they're really getting the rhythm now, but Shukurov does really well there to buy the foul. But you know, branding a card is going to cause you problems, because you'll end up getting a booking yourself for that.
Colombia top their qualifying group, or top their main group actually, in the 2014 and 2018 World Cups, winning 5 of their 6 group games across both tournaments. At the moment they're winning this first one of 2026, and they're top of the group as things stand as a result, with the game ending all square earlier between Portugal and DR Congo. That was the first commentary of the evening on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Faisal Aliyev comes on the attack here for Uzbekistan and wins them their first corner of the second half. So an early opportunity here after half-time, 3.5 minutes into the half, for them to whip one in here, because the corner that they got in the first half, Uzbekistan, wasn't too bad.
No, it's Fazilev got an opportunity now to get his right foot round it and put it into an area where Kuzanov can go and attack it.
Corner's going to be An in-swinger from the left, right-footed delivery, but it's not going to be taken until referee Anthony Taylor has had a word with a good couple of people, actually, in that packed 6 yards area at the Azteca. Brilliant, historic ground with an 80,000 plus capacity. Corner sent in this time deep, too deep, goes all the way through and behind for a goal kick to Colombia, to be taken by the man wearing all purple, Camilo Vargas, in their goal. Anthony Taylor, a couple of yellow cards he's brandished so far, but otherwise he's refereed this game calmly.
Yeah, really comfortable. Mozgay is just actually come in. That's where they were looking to hit round the back, but he come in too early and the ball goes over and end up committing a foul. But it was decent enough delivery to the back post, but he just didn't get the timing right.
Ball with Colombia and Arias in their midfield, and he's got space to move into as he goes charging over the halfway line, moves the ball to his left where Luis Diaz is going to cut inside. Ball back in towards Arias as they try to link up well, perfectly read and intercepted by Uzbekistan, and the clearance goes as far as John Lukumi, level with the edge of the centre circle. James Rodriguez will take over for Colombia, and Diaz now has it wide on the left. A second goal for Colombia, and that would absolutely wrap up this game. It's not going to come there, though, because it's gone all the way through to the Uzbekistan goalkeeper, Yusupov, who clears long and high downfield. Colombia beat Argentina and Brazil in their qualifiers to get to this tournament. Didn't qualify in 2022, lost to England, of course, on penalties in 2018, having made the last 8 in Brazil in 2014. So mixed is how you would sum up their World Cups of recent years. Uzbekistan stopped them in their stride here, and again clear high towards halfway, where Davinson Sanchez wins a towering header for Colombia. Ball goes out for an Uzbekistan throw to be taken by Saifiev on the halfway line. 11 minutes past 4 across the UK, 11 minutes past 9 local time in Mexico City. It's 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Uzbekistan with a cross, it's gone all the way through, and it falls for the half-time substitute Saifiev. Ball in towards the 6 yards area, headed away by Colombia. Uzbekistan looking a little bit threatening here. Can Colombia bring the ball away? No, they can't. They give it straight back to Saifiev, but there's been a foul in there on Luis Diaz, and it will be a Colombia free kick. Faisalayev, the set-piece man, the man penalised there for that foul.
Yeah, I just think at times Karamov he gets into good areas. He's putting the ball in too early. There's nobody in the box, or Shukarov is in the box on his own against 2 defenders, against Lukumi and Sanchez, and he's not going to win too many in the air against them. So at time, can they link it? Can they try and probe? Can they get it wide? Or combine to try and get him an opportunity, because it's so difficult when you just put it in the box and it's 2 against 1. So it's really important that Uzbekistan, when they can, keep the ball better than what they've been doing. I think they've turned the ball over far too much. That's just allowed Colombia more time, more pressure on the back line.
Karamov, who Charlie just mentioned there, Berijan Karamov, only 18 years of age, made his debut in March of this year, youngest player in the squad, as Colombia sending across from the left here, looking for John Arias, cleared away sideways by Uzbekistan to their right back area. They should pass their way out of trouble. They need to be careful they don't overplay here, do so superbly well. And Mozgavoy, Akmal Mozgavoy, the defensive midfielder, brings the ball away, ball out to the right, and Karamov, who we just spoken about there, only 18 years of age, looks much older than that, sprints away down the right. Crossfield pass from right to left, looking to pick out the run of Saifiev. Too much on that, and it goes out for a Colombia throw in their right back area. 7 minutes gone in the second half. Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 1 on 5 Live. And I'll be honest with you, Charlie, at the moment, I can't call the way that the next goal is going to go in this one. It's well balanced.
No, but again, there they go. Uzbekistan getting some combination at the top end of the pitch or in the defensive area, then trying to combine. Okay, the switch of play wasn't a great ball, but they're finding their confidence to try and play out a little bit, because Shukarov's got a tough ask at the top end of the pitch, chasing around, but when they can play and they can get 2 or 3 passes, it gives confidence to the team.
Just had another shot of Gianni Infantino watching in the posh seats in the Azteca, another game that he's ticking off. I've seen him at countless games. I don't think I've seen him smile once, though. Every single ground that I've seen him at, but he is clocking up the miles, as we mentioned in the first half. The FIFA president, who had a big say in putting this whole tournament together across 3 countries, the United States, Mexico and Canada. Uzbekistan here have lost the ball in the midfield. Ball played forward by James Rodriguez. He sold Luis Diaz half a yard short there, and that enables Uzbekistan to intercept and come forwards on the counter here. Faisalayev to the edge of the area, intercepted by Colombia, but Uzbekistan have it back, and they have been much better, Uzbekistan, since half-time. Shukurov comes forwards here down the centre, midway inside the Colombia half. Has to check because he's got a Colombia player in his face. Gives it to Shomorodov, their record goal scorer. Ball to the left to Saifayev. Infield he goes this time to Moscovoy. Ball played out to the left to Saifayev again. Level with the edge of the Colombia penalty area. They're playing decent football, as I've mentioned, since half-time, but the organisation of Colombia is proving too much for them.
Yeah, it's good organisation by Colombia, but better for Uzbekistan. Get some passes in the team, get some confidence within the players, because if you keep turning over, let's say, Colombia will break quickly against them. So if they're allowing them just to keep the ball for a period of time where then you can build and then look to try and risk that pass when you get into there, like similar to Diaz, he risked that pass, get them probably 25 yards out to Munoz. So they're the things you have to do, because it's so hard when you don't have the ball. You're running around, you know, Colombia having 60-65% possession, but when you have it, you need to try and regroup, organise, try and keep some passes, and then look to try and penetrate quickly if you can.
Uzbekistan, just reading some of the pre-match quotes, just delighted to be at their first ever World Cup. History being made football-wise for that nation. They've gone so close to previous World Cups. They missed out on qualifying for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil by 1 goal on goal difference, and missed out on a place in the 2018 World Cup in Russia by losing to South Korea. So they've gone close on a couple of occasions over the last 12 years. This time, though, they are here in this expanded format, but they would have qualified even if it was a 32-team tournament still anyway, because they were absolutely brilliant, Uzbekistan, in qualifying. We mentioned earlier, lost just 1 of their 16 games, and you can see why, just because of the organisation. It's just, you're shaking your head here because the quality moving forwards, they're just letting themselves down with the basics.
Yeah, it's just the basics, passes, simple passes, trying to, you know, 10-15 yard pass and it's going astray. That's you know, if you're a manager there, that's technical errors. That's nothing to do with, that's just real lack of quality with the ball, and they need to improve that. If they want to try and progress or get better in this game, they have to try and keep the ball better than what they are, and not force passes that they don't think it's on. Simple passes they're giving away, and that's just giving Colombia an opportunity to come at you again.
Those are the frustrated thoughts of Charlie Adam with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 26 caps for Scotland, formerly of Rangers, Liverpool, Blackpool and, of course, Stoke City. With us here for commentary. Will be with us tomorrow night too for the Mexico game as they host South Korea. Really looking forward to doing that one, seeing how one of the host countries get on in their second game. Got off to a flying start, didn't they, against South Africa?
Yeah, I thought South Africa were very, very poor, but I thought the Mexicans started the tournament really well, and you know, gave them a huge lift in the stadium. So interested to see how they turn up tomorrow against South Korea, because, you know, it'll be a difficult game for them.
James Rodriguez now for Colombia, tries the through ball from 25 yards out. He was looking for the run of Munoz. Uzbekistan clears sideways, don't get too much distance on it though until Moscovoy, the defensive midfielder, takes charge of the situation. He clears long downfield. Main striker Shomorodov can't get on the end of it, and the ball will be picked up at the back by Colombia centre-half Davinson Sanchez.
So hard for Shomorodov to even get a run with Lukemi. He's so strong, he's quick. Need to try and play into his feet, like he did in the first half. He actually bought a foul from Lukemi and get up the pitch. So again, it's like talking about that quality of pass into Uzbekistan, is that you need to play into feet, because he's not going to run past the centre back. Making sure, can you get it into his feet, can he hold it, and can he get us up the pitch?
Davinson Sanchez has been a rock at the back in this game for Colombia. Might be tested here as Kamadov comes forward, but he's stopped in his stride and the ball goes out for a throw-in. Davinson Sanchez played every minute for Colombia at the 2018 World Cup and every minute in their run to the 2014 Copa America the 2024 Copa America final as well. Real rock of a defender, and as sloppy as they've been up top tonight, Uzbekistan, he's had to be on guard, and you have to say that the back four of Munoz, Sanchez, Lukumi and Mahika have been brilliant in front of Vargas.
Yeah, they've been very, very comfortable, haven't they? They've not really been tested yet, and you know, it's really important that they start organising that front, sort of everybody in front of them, Rodriguez, Diaz, and they just don't go wandering, doing what they want to do. If they've got a good shape, good organisation, like again, they're just kicking the ball at the pitch, getting opportunities to keep the ball, keep penetrating, and keep the pressure on Uzbekistan defence, because the longer it goes, opportunities will arise for them.
Ticking towards the hour mark in the Azteca. Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 1. A second goal for Colombia, and that will be game, set and match, you feel. But as long as it's at 1-0, as we've seen with many games in this tournament, you just never know for Uzbekistan. They've not really tested Vargas in that goal, but we have seen them look threatening in the wide areas. Can they find a way to break down that formidable looking back four who we were just waxing lyrical about seconds ago? Shukurov for Uzbekistan. Ball nodded down in the midfield, and now here is a through ball in towards the substitute Kamdarov. Cross goes in, shot is saved, and it's going to get nodded in on the line, and Uzbekistan are level. It's Faisal Layev who's got it. Goalkeeper saved the shot at his near post, and it's tapped in on the line by Faisal Layev, and Uzbekistan have their first ever goal at a World Cup finals. History is made by Abuzbek Faisal Layev, and Uzbekistan are level on the hour mark in the Azteca. Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 1.
Yeah, first bit of real quality from Uzbekistan. And it's Shukurov, what a pass it is to in behind, and it's a lovely cross there, and Fazalayev does a volley there. Goalkeeper's got to do much better. It spins up, and it's a brilliant finish, little header in the end of the net. If you want your first goal at a World Cup, it's 1 yard out, you'd be delighted with that, and it's a brilliant finish. It's a great run, and it's the substitute Kamdarov putting that cross in, and actually goalkeeper touched onto the post, and Fazalayev does brilliant just to nod it in and get that goal. But like I said, good structure, good organisation. It gives you an opportunity in the game, and that first real bit of quality from Uzbekistan.
Shomurodov it was with the shot. Goalkeeper fumbled it onto the inside of his post. I mean, poor goalkeeping, as Charlie was saying there. But I tell you, one person who could not give a stuff, that is Faisal Layev, who was there as the ball ricocheted off the inside of the post to tap it in on the line. History made for Uzbekistan. They have a goal at a World Cup, and they're level with Colombia at 1-1. Literally, as we were just saying, at 1-0 in any game of football, you just never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's just given that organisation, that structure and that belief, you know, for that sort of 15 minutes after half-time, they've not been good enough, Uzbekistan, but they showed that one real bit of quality, and they've managed to get that goal. And let's say getting that goal gives them belief, gives them real emphasis in the game, and now it's an opportunity. Let's see what Colombia have got about them. Have they got the character to bounce back?
Well, here, Uzbekistan have won themselves a free kick for a foul on Saifiev on this near side. Anthony Taylor just coming across to have a word with Gustavo Puerta, who lent into him with an arm. I'm not quite sure there was too much in that, to be honest with you, looking at the replay. For Saifiev has stayed down like there was a sniper in the stands.
No, but you take that, and now it's an opportunity. If I'm Uzbekistan, I'm putting this in the box. Go and put it on top of the goalkeeper and see how he wants to deal with it after that mistake he's just made.
Yeah. Vargas, who's keeping out the former Arsenal goalkeeper, actually David Ospina as first choice. Won't want to look at his role in the build-up to that Uzbekistan goal. He has the ball at his feet at the moment. Absolutely nothing came from that free kick. They didn't do what Charlie said and hit it long. They played it sideways, and the move broke down for Uzbekistan straight away. So 63 minutes gone. We have a game on now at the Azteca. Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 1. What have Colombia got in response? Jefferson Lerma plays the ball up towards Luis Suarez, and now here are Colombia on the edge of the penalty area this time with James Rodriguez. Through ball, cut out, opportunity here for Luis Suarez, might fall for Diaz on his right foot. Diaz plays the ball across, Arias with a shot, that gets blocked, balloons up into the air, clearance falls to Lerma, his shot deflects over the bar, corner, says Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, brilliant defending from the Uzbekistan defender. Body on the line, blocks Kuzanov, putting the body on the line. That's proper box defending, and Colombia actually get the corner in the end. Now it's Rodriguez's opportunity to whip it in an in-swinger.
That'll shut me up from a Colombia perspective. What have they got in response? Quite a bit, actually. They just had 5 shots in the space of about 15 seconds. Referee Anthony Taylor just having a word with a couple of players near to the penalty spot as James Rodriguez waits to send in this in-swinging corner with his left foot. 64 minutes on the clock. 1-1, Uzbekistan and Colombia. It's a good corner by Rodriguez, headed wide in the end by Davinson Sanchez, and it's going to be a goal kick to Uzbekistan. And I can't believe it, Charlie, we are level at 1-1, despite all of that Colombian dominance and possession that we've seen across both halves.
Yeah, again, but that's what I'm saying is when you get that first goal, if you get the goal and then you don't get on that next one, so you always get an opportunity, you always could get an opportunity, and Uzbekistan did brilliant there to keep it alive, and Fazilev, great tap in there with his head. So no, it's now game on again, and you know, it's important that Colombia start to get momentum again, get real quality and get hold of the ball again, because they lost that a little bit, and you know, Uzbekistan fans there celebrating. It's a huge achievement for them.
Yeah, they're jumping up and down, kind of, if you imagine the Poznan but facing forwards. That's what a large section of the Uzbekistan fans are doing at the moment, but they've lost possession on the field. And here come Colombia with Luis Diaz with a shot, fumbled by the keeper and in, and Colombia are back in front just like that. Howler from the goalkeeper Yusupov. It slid through his hands as Diaz put the shot in. He celebrates as he slides on the ground, and Colombia are back in front 5 minutes after that Uzbekistan equaliser. It's Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 2, and Luis Diaz has his first goal of the World Cup.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way to pass, and Diaz side foot to the right foot. Goalkeeper's got to do better, and but it's a lovely finish from Diaz. They rob it in the middle of the pitch, they counter-attack quickly. It's Rodriguez, it's Lerma, they win the ball and get it back, and it's a lovely pass from Arias. Way to pass to Diaz, and he finishes it beautifully. But the goalkeeper's got to do better. 2 goalkeeping errors in the last with the last 2 goals.
Oh, that was a weak left hand, wasn't it, by Utkir Yusupov. Take nothing away from Luis Diaz. Good side foot finish with his right foot as he was cutting in from the left, but the goalkeeper, that as weak hands go, that was weak.
Yeah, it was poor, really poor goalkeeping, but again, really good aggressive play in the middle of the pitch from Colombia, winning it back and then driving quickly, and then it's a lovely slide to Diaz.
Luis Diaz with his 23rd goal for Colombia on what is his 74th cap. Mentioned his stats earlier. What a first season he's had at Bayern Munich. 26 goals and 19 assists to help them to a domestic double. Speaking of Bayern and doubles, we saw his Bayern Munich teammate Harry Kane at the double for England earlier as they beat Croatia 4-2. Reaction to that with Rachel Burden and Rick Edwards on 5 Live Breakfast from 6 o'clock as England got their World Cup off to a winning start. At the moment, Harry Kane's Bayern Munich teammate Luis Diaz will be just as pleased because Colombia are back in front thanks to his goal. It's Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 2 as we head towards the second hydration break of this game in the Azteca. Colombia have the ball with Jefferson Lerma. Interesting that when it went to 1-1, their manager Nestor Lorenzo didn't decide to turn to his bench, which does have quality on it. He's stuck with the 11 that he started the game with, and it's reaped rewards for him. He's been patient, he's given them an opportunity to right the wrongs, and it took them just 5 minutes. Here's the scorer of their first goal, Daniel Munoz. Well taken goal in the first half down the right. Clearance is made by Ashamatov, the centre half for Uzbekistan, and the ball goes out for a Colombia throw right by the corner flag on this near side, their right.
Yeah, I think sometimes with Nestor, when you lose a goal, your natural reaction to think, we need to make substitutes. They're in full control of the game. They've got plenty of the ball. They're making things happen. It was just an individual error that's cost them. So they always feel like with the quality they've got on the pitch, they can get that momentum back, and you know, so quickly after Uzbekistan score, they get a goal, and now they're back ahead. So it's goalkeeper back down again.
Yeah, we've got another break in play here. Utkir Yusupov, the Uzbekistan goalkeeper has gone down, not for the first time. He did it in the first half. Now he's gone down with cramp, and that gives Anthony Taylor the perfect opportunity to signal the second hydration break of this game. I mean, just before I do a recap of everything that's going on across 5 Live and BBC Sounds, a goalkeeper with cramp?
No, I think again it's we've seen it a lot last year, isn't it, in different leagues and that. But I just think it was an opportunity to stop the game. And I think this is why they wanted to bring this in a little bit as well, that stop goalkeepers doing that. But you know, if I'm Colombia, I wouldn't want this break. I want to keep going, I want to keep causing them problems. But now it gets Nestor an opportunity to bring his team back in together and regroup and give them, you know, some good instructions that you're doing well. Don't forget what we've done. Keep doing the things that have caused these problems, because if we do that, then there'll be more goals for us.
And we saw earlier the history-making moment for Uzbekistan on the hour mark as Faisal Aliyev equalised for them to make it 1-1 with Uzbekistan's first ever goal at a World Cup finals. That was great, somewhat against the run of play, and as fortunate as Luis Diaz was to put Colombia back into the lead 5 minutes later with that goalkeeping mistake, you feel 2-1 across the game as a whole is a fair reflection of what we've seen in the Azteca.
Absolutely. I think, you know, we'll all know the stats will say that Colombia have dominated this game. The goalkeeping error has allowed Uzbekistan back into it. But again, we've said what reaction they're going to give us, and they've gave us the right reaction they expect. It's a lovely ball. Shomurodov, the captain, gets robbed in the middle of the park. Too many touches, and they pounce on it, and Arias just slides a brilliant ball to Diaz, and yeah, it was a decent enough finish, but it was poor goalkeeping.
9:31 local time in Mexico City, 4:31 across the UK. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC Sounds, with loads more games to come this Thursday from the FIFA World Cup. The next game will be game 25. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff. Czech Republic against South Africa, with commentary from Dean Smith, the former Aston Villa boss, and Ian Dennis. 8 o'clock kickoff for the second game of the run, Switzerland against Bosnia-Herzegovina, with Clinton Morrison and Chris Coles. And then 11 o'clock tomorrow night, it is Canada against Qatar, Canada's second game of the tournament. Dion Dublin and Vicky Sparks on commentary for that, before we return tomorrow with Mexico's second game of the tournament as they host South Korea. We mentioned it earlier, both of us really looking forward to that one tomorrow night.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's excellent. Mexico, a great start. South Korea will be a tough opposition for Mexico, but we've got a massive game before that in Scotland against Morocco, so that's where we need to focus on first.
That's the next day, Scotland, Morocco. I think you're getting too excited there, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's no, it's coming Friday night.
That's Friday, yeah. It's Thursday, yeah.
So
Thursday
night, yeah.
the days are all merging into one.
Yeah. But,
I thought my sheet there had the biggest game of the lot missing. No, that is. Oh, I tell you, with these early kickoffs, you can forgive anybody for forgetting what day it is.
It's a big game for Scotland coming up.
It is, and a big player is going off here for Colombia. James Rodriguez is going off, and Leandro Campaz is going to take his place here. James Rodriguez, whenever he's had the ball, Charlie, he's looked terrific.
Yeah,
pure class.
he's got a quality. You can see that, maybe not got the legs as he did before, but he's got quality on the ball, and you know, he's still a big player for Colombia, and if you want to go far, they'll be needing a lot of quality from him over it.
Leandro Campaz, who comes on to take his place, plays his club football in Argentina. 1 goal in his 9 games for Colombia so far. Doesn't need to score though, really, as he comes on here. Just needs to make sure his team don't concede any more goals, and they will win this game, because as we have 18 minutes to go plus stoppage time in the Azteca, it's Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 2. That's the first change that Colombia have made in this game so far, aside from all the football. England's second test against New Zealand got underway at Trent Bridge yesterday. New Zealand closing on 291 for 7. You can hear day 2 on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds from 11 o'clock this morning with the test match special team. And the Women's T20 World Cup continues on Thursday evening, later tonight, with the West Indies against Scotland. That's live on Sports Extra 2 from 6:30. We've also got full coverage of day 3 of Royal Ascot this afternoon, on air from 2 on Sports Extra 2 with the brilliant John Hunt and the team. Ball played forwards by Uzbekistan. Colombia go all the way back to their goalkeeper Vargas, who made a mistake for Uzbekistan's equaliser, so he'll be relieved to see his team go back in front. They could be further clear here. Diaz with a ball to the right to the man who's only just come on, Leandro Campas. I mentioned he got 1 goal for his country so far. Could have had a second there.
Yeah, it was good play, Diaz there, just offside, but no, it's a long ball from the goalkeeper, and Kuzanov does well to get back and cover there. But just going about Colombia, do you think they're thinking about goal difference here?
Well,
because they play Portugal last,
yes,
and they play Congo, so it's thinking, are they thinking about possibly a bit of goal difference, finish top of the group?
You do wonder, as things stand, they're top of the group outright, with Portugal and Congo only managing a draw last night. But yeah, goal difference always worth thinking about, isn't it?
No, I do think so, because again, you look at, you know, Uzbekistan are probably the worst team in the group, and this is their opportunity maybe to get a couple of goals in. And you never know by the end of it, coming to the end when you play Portugal, Colombia, and you might need something out of that.
And I mentioned it earlier on as Luis Diaz wins Colombia a free kick there. He's just been fouled by the Manchester City defender Abdelkader Kusanov. I mentioned earlier on that Colombia have topped their group in the 2014 and 2018 World Cups, winning 5 of their 6 group games across both tournaments. So they're used to finishing top of their group, and they know that the higher you finish obviously will give you the chance in the knockouts of playing what you would consider to be a lesser side.
That's what you've got to think about, especially with what the result was earlier with the Portugal and Congo game. So that's got to be in their minds as well. So, but again, first and foremost, let's win the game, but do think that an opportunity of maybe goal difference could help, and like I say, for that next round you've got to think of that as well.
Whoever wins this group will play one of 4 teams who finish 3rd in their respective groups. I know that because I'm doing the knockout round of 32 game concerning the winners of this group, as the free kick gets sent in by Colombia, goes all the way through. And I'll be honest with you, ignorantly, because I know I've got that last 32 knockout game, I was starting to prep for Portugal. But given what we've seen here with Colombia, you just never know.
No, absolutely no. I think what you're saying is that this Colombia team have shown in this game so far, there's been moments where they've been very good, but ultimately there's been moments where you think that final cross, that final pass has just not been there. But you know, it's only the first game, and they want to try and get some rhythm, some tempo quickly. But most important thing is winning the game and then looking at the things next.
Another Uzbekistan player has gone down with cramp here, Charlie. So we've got another break-in player. Rustam Ashamatov has gone down. He's been steady at centre-half, not played a club game since February, as the season was cancelled in Iran, where he plays his domestic football because, of course, of the USA-Israel conflict with Iran. So he's not played much football, and you just wonder if that could be one factor in him cramping up here.
And again, the heat and the intensity of the game could be causing a problem from him, but not playing February to June, it's a long time. You can train and you can play closed door matches, but it's not the same as playing real international football.
Ashamatov is actually going to come off here, along with the goal scorer, the man who made history earlier, Abazbek Faisalayev, the first Uzbekistan player to score a goal at a World Cup. He made it 1-1 at the time. Colombia now leading this game by 2-1, and the joy on his face just as he leaves the field now, the joy on his face earlier, Charlie, as he ran away celebrating that goal, was absolutely superb.
Yeah, it's a huge occasion for the lad, and as for a country to be here, and what a feeling to actually go in and scoring a goal and really put your name in the map, and everybody now starting to talk about you, but you know, you'll never ever forget that moment.
He absolutely won't. Absolutely won't. Terrific moment for everybody associated with Uzbekistan. And we have now got 12.5 minutes to go as Luis Diaz comes on the attack here for Colombia. Down the left, crosses a little bit too deep. Can it be kept in by Munoz on this near side? It can't, and it will be a throw-in to Uzbekistan in their left back area. So the 2 players to come on, by the way, we've just seen the Uzbekistan number 20 come on in place of the goal scorer. So Azizbek Aminov has come on, 4 goals in 11 club games this calendar year, 1 in 12 for his country. And the other player player to come on, the man wearing shirt number 26, Jakungia Urasov, scored on his debut in March against Gabon in a 3-1 win, only 22 years of age, so a little bit of youth coming into the team there. And it's him who gets his first touch with his head here, Urasov, as he heads the ball all the way back to his goalkeeper, Yusupov. It's Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 2 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Colombia going top of Group K as things stand, leading as they do with that scoreline in the brilliant Azteca. Just a brilliant place to watch football. It's jam-packed. It's a sea of colour tonight. Lots of yellow of Colombia, albeit they're in their changed kit, the Colombians this evening. They've just won a free kick for a foul on Luis Suarez on the halfway line. He's been kept quiet, Suarez, the main striker in this second half, showed plenty of pace and threat in the first 45. I think the Uzbekistan players have become wise to him in the second half.
Yeah, they've been more aggressive and gone all the way in with them. And, you know, he's not really had much supply. It's more about Diaz and Arias have been the sort of main threats at the top end of the pitch for Colombia. And, you know, it's been a tough evening for him.
Suarez is going off here. He's going to be replaced by Cuco Hernandez. And we're also going to see Gustavo Puerta make way. He's going to be replaced by Richard Rios for the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time in this game, with Colombia leading as they do by 2-1. If you've just switched on and you're joining us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, hello, good morning. 20-5 across the UK, 20-10 local time in Mexico City in the Azteca, which is where this game is being played. Colombia, good value for the lead if you have joined us, and overnight you will have missed Ghana scoring in the 95th minute to beat Panama in the other game in England's group by 1-0. Before that, England themselves 4-2 winners against Croatia. If you did nod off during that game, it was absolutely brilliant. 2-2 at half-time, Harry Kane with 2 in the first half, but then England with 2 in the second half to see them go top of their group. It's an Englishman I'm looking at the moment on the field here, Anthony Taylor, who's just awarded a free kick to Colombia for a late tackle which went in on Leandro Campas there. Anthony Taylor firmly awarding the free kick, looking very annoyed with the Uzbekistan player who committed the foul. And as we mentioned earlier, myself and Charlie Adam, he's had a steady game so far, the Premier League referee, as Colombia played the ball up top towards the substitute striker Cuco Hernandez, who came on a few moments ago, plays for Real Betis. Spent 3 years at Watford, only played 1 season for them though.
Yeah, he's got the shape of a Tevez, Aguero type, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hernandez, he's like small and a bit like firm, and that he's you'll be more about wanting to link the play.
Shot comes in from distance here from Colombia. Well over the crossbar that time from the man who's been playing all of this game on a tightrope because he was booked very early on, Johan Mejica, that time with a shot from about 35 yards, which went about 35 yards over that time, showing exactly why he's a left back. Uzbekistan with the ball on their left this time, this near side, foul by Davinson Sanchez on the halfway line, sees Uzbekistan come away with a free kick with 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes for them to find a second equaliser. As we saw earlier in the second half, they have got what it takes.
Yeah, again, Cannavaro will be looking, maybe do we try and push that extra body to the top end of the pitch and come away from that back 5, get another body at the top end, maybe looking to put more pressure on the Colombians, because like you say, when they did put that showed that real bit of quality, they managed to get a goal from it.
Ball on the Uzbekistan right at the moment, with Karimov, one of the younger players in the team, works the ball in field, only 18 years of age. Karimov, attempts on goal, Colombia 12, Uzbekistan 3, on target, Colombia 3, Uzbekistan 2, goals that count. Colombia 2, Uzbekistan 1. Uzbekistan with a throw-in on this near side here. They play the ball forwards to the substitute Amarov, who's only been on the field for a few minutes. Ball goes out for another throw to be taken by the substitute defender Urasov, and he's looking for some movement ahead of him here because this throw-in is about 30 yards from the corner flag. Walks back It's going to be a long run up here as he launches this long throw into the penalty area, headed away by Colombia. Ball's loose in the midfield. Luis Diaz tries to make it stick, but Uzbekistan come away with the ball as they search for an equaliser. Uzbekistan managed by Fabio Cannavaro, won the World Cup as a player with Italy in 2006, actually won the Ballon d'Or that year as well. And I mentioned earlier, when he was appointed in October 2015, Fabio Cannavaro, it was the defensive playing style that he brings that was praised by the Uzbekistan FA. Well, they've been tested defensively. It's been going forwards where they've struggled to create tonight, but here's an opportunity from a free kick wide on the left. Let's see what Colombia are made of defensively here as Shakarov sends in this free kick deep, too deep, all the way through and behind for a goal kick to Colombia.
Yeah, it's the wrong type of ball, I think, and it's got to be a driven ball round the back of the... He tried to bend it high and wide, and then as soon as it went over the top of the back line, it was always going out for a goal kick. But yeah, again, Cannavaro, top player, and you know, he just reeled off. Not many defenders win the Ballon d'Or, and it shows his level. But what it does is, for people like Kuznetsov, it gives the experience to learn from somebody like that who, you know, can be a huge asset to him and help him in his career.
Yeah, Kuznetsov, the one Premier League player whose name you'll recognise in the Uzbekistan starting 11, the first Uzbekistan player to actually play Premier League football, and he might be being tested here because Colombia come on the attack down the left. Cross comes in from Leandro Campas, deflected behind, and it's a corner to Colombia with 5 minutes to go, a third goal, and that will be the end of it from a Colombian point of view if they can make it a 2-goal margin.
Yeah, it was good play from Suarez,
Campas.
Diaz there, and Campas
Diaz
getting 1v1 in the box, and Abdullah he does well to block that cross. But an opportunity now for Colombia to go and put it in the box. You've got some big lads in there now with Rios and Lucchemi, Sanchez. Davinson Sanchez, sorry, is a big threat of set plays.
You forget how big he is. Left Spurs in 2023, more than 200 appearances for them. He's a huge frame waiting for this in-swinging John Arias corner. In it goes towards the back post, headed across the penalty area by the other centre-half, Lucchemi. It's going to fall back to Arias, left side of the area, pulls it back, shot goes in, and it goes wide. Hit the side netting that time from Crystal Palace's Jefferson Lerma. For a second, a few people inside the Azteca thought that was in, but it was the wrong side of the net.
Yeah, it was unlucky. It was good again there for Campas. It was a good play, good cutback, and Lerma just slide-footed it to the side netting.
Wake up to money on the way as soon as we're done at 5 o'clock with this latest World Cup commentary from 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 104 games in the tournament, commentary of 92 across 5 Live and Sounds. Full coverage of all 104 as Colombia come forwards here down the right with Leandro Campas, who's been busy since he came on as a substitute. Tries the through ball, cleared away, might fall for Campas again here. Shows great determination to win it back, tries the curling shot, did everything right until it came to the final shot. He walks away with his head in his hands because the shot went about 10 yards wide.
Yeah, it was good tenacity from Campas there. He does really well just to win the ball, block tackle, but he just opens his foot out too much, and he just doesn't get it back round to go in the right hand corner of the goalkeeper.
Uzbekistan come forwards now looking for an equaliser, and as long as it is at 2-1, you just never know, because we were saying this earlier. We were saying when Colombia were leading 1-0, as long as it's a 1-goal margin, you never know. And then Uzbekistan went and equalised. Colombia since retaking the lead through the former Liverpool man now of Bayern Munich, Luis Diaz. But they need a third goal just to make sure this game is wrapped up, because with 3 minutes to go plus stoppage time, Uzbekistan with Shomurodov up top do have the ability to cause Colombia problems. The thing is, Colombia are dominating so much of the ball here. It's making life oh so difficult for Uzbekistan, but they've won the ball back in an area that Charlie Adam knows very well, the midfield. Ball worked to the right to Kamadov, wearing shirt number 17 for Uzbekistan. Back to Karamov, the youngster, wide on the right, cutting in on his left foot, tries the shot, takes a deflection, and out of nowhere, Charlie, Uzbekistan have a late corner.
Yeah, that's much better for Kamadov there, cutting in that left-hand side, bringing out a defender just to make a block, and now we've got an opportunity to corner in the box. But again, for Uzbekistan, these are the moments. you know, 2 or 3 minutes to go plus a stoppage time. You need to put an extra body in the box. Go and take a risk. The game's done. The game's done. Go and take a risk. Go and put another body at the top end, and maybe you can get an equaliser.
Well, let's see what Uzbekistan can do from this in-swinging left-footed corner from the right, their far side. As we look at things here, Anthony Taylor just trying to deal with some wrestling inside the 6 yards area. I can see 7 white shirts for Uzbekistan in the box, one waiting to pounce on the edge of the D. Referee Anthony Taylor still not happy with something. There's a lot of pushing and argy-bargy, so he's going to go in. Cuco Hernandez for Colombia is one of the players he's having a word with. Anthony Taylor says no more, jogs away, puts the whistle to his lips. Big moment. Uzbekistan with the corner in towards the 6 yards area. 2 Uzbekistan players went diving in for it at the back post. The corner, though, always just a little bit too deep, and it's going to go behind for a Colombia goal kick as we go into the final minute of the 90.
Yeah, there was so many bodies in there. It was just overhit from a lad, and you know, just 2 players going and clashing. But it's important there when you get that opportunity to put it in the box. Go and put it at 6 yards. Just put it in the middle of the goals. Get the big guys going to attack it, and that's wasted an opportunity again from Uzbekistan.
Lots of Uzbekistan supporters inside the Azteca enjoying their country's first ever game at a World Cup. Lots of them have been, regardless of the scoreline, with them being 2-1 down, in party mood throughout this match. I have just seen 4 or 5 with a drum. I mean, come on. I spent a lot of my early career commentating on Crew Alex, who always have a drummer at every game, and I loved it for the first game, and then after that, oh man.
Yeah, but I think that's just a part of it now with these young people. But no, I think if you look at Uzbekistan, they knew it was going to be a tough game, and they've probably come out with it in a result where, yeah, something to be proud of, that it's not been, you know, a big game.
Here they come into the area, trying a curling shot, and it just goes wide from Akmal Mozgovoy. Now, he had time and space as he burst into the area out of absolutely nowhere there, as Charlie was talking. Took a touch with his right, then a second touch, and a curler wide of the top corner is the best he can muster. I'm sorry, Charlie, first World Cup or not, from 16 yards out, with that much space inside the area, you've got to A, find the back of the net, or B, at least test the keeper.
Oh, what a chance for Mozgovoy. He does really well just to open his right foot up, and it doesn't come round for him. And if it was on target, it was in. It's an unbelievable chance for them.
8 minutes to be added on at the end of the 90 here as well. 8 minutes of stoppage time to be played in the Azteca, with Colombia leading by just 1 goal.
But that moment there, you know, Colombia need to be switched on now with that next 8 minutes, because that one bit of moment could have cost them there. But it was a lovely run from Mozgovoy, and he just didn't really come round with it. He just opened his foot up and never really brought it back round, and it was a big chance for them.
You know what happened to Mozgovoy, don't you? If they didn't have a drummer in their support, that would have found the top corner. It's the drummer, too distracting, too irritating. That's why Mozgovoy couldn't muster up that finish that was needed there, just as we thought he might as well, to make it 2-2. What a story that would have been, as Uzbekistan search for a first ever World Cup point. They've got their first goal, a second at this stage, you would think. Point as they come forwards down the right with Karimov to the edge of the penalty area. Colombia so well organised, though, defending in their numbers here. They've looked so threatening going forwards throughout, but at the moment they're just having to sit back and absorb a lot of Uzbekistan pressure as they come forwards down the left with the half-time sub Safayev across the 6 yards area, ricochets off a Colombia defender, and the goalkeeper is able to claim it there. Vargas from underneath his crossbar. Uzbekistan players appeal for handball. Referee Anthony Taylor never moved. The ball's gone out into touch on this near side, so it'll be checked by VAR anyway. Let's just have a look as the cross came in from Safayev from the left, headed on at the back post. If it did come off an arm, it came off an Uzbekistan arm. Let's have a look.
Oh no!
Oh, actually,
come off.
Actually, has that just hit the hand of John Arias? Well, Anthony Taylor stopped the game so we can make substitutions anyway. Colombia are going to make a double change here in the final seconds of this game, but I'm just keen to see what happens there with John Arias. He didn't know anything about it. He's actually going to make way now anyway. Arias going off, so too Luis Diaz, as they bring on Castano and Gomez for the final few minutes of this game. Kevin Castano coming on for Colombia, as is Andre Gomez as well, as we move into the 4th of 8 added minutes here. Shomorodov, the main striker, going off for Uzbekistan. He goes off for the final few moments here. So interesting move when you need a goal. You take off your record goal scorer, but still, that's the decision which has been made by the Uzbekistan manager, Fabio Cannavaro. As Uzbekistan come forwards here down the centre. Chipped ball out to the right. Gomez is over there. Cross goes in all the way through and behind for a goal kick to Colombia, and it's another chance goes begging for Uzbekistan.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball in the box, and Saifiev needs to make a run in between full-back and centre-back. If he does that, he's got a chance of scoring a goal, but he's actually stood outside the full-back. It's a brilliant ball in the box, round that back post area, and he should have just gambled it to get in the back post.
So Shomorodov going off, their main striker for Uzbekistan. The man who's taken his place, Igor Sergeyev, experienced striker, 32 years of age, plays his domestic football in Iran, his 84th cap for his country, so he's no mug, but it doesn't matter who you're bringing on, whether it be Igor Sergeyev for Uzbekistan or Lionel Messi. 4 minutes is not a lot of time to have an impact. Let's wait and see what happens. Saifiev with a header in from this near side, the Uzbekistan left. Colombia, if you've just woken up and you've just switched on, hello, good morning. Colombia leading this game by 2-1. They come forwards here looking for a third with Cuco Hernandez wide on the right, plays the ball forwards, comes off an Uzbekistan defender. Colombia with a throw level with the edge of the box, and more importantly, a throw that allows them to waste a few more seconds.
Yeah, it was a good play from Hernandez there at the top end of the pitch, just getting a foul, throw in, get the team up the pitch, and all of a sudden they have a throw in, they go straight all the way back to goalkeeper.
Colombia go back into their own half and to Davinson Sanchez, who hits a long ball forwards, looking for Cuco Hernandez, comes off the top of his head and carries all the way through to goalkeeper Utkir Yusupov for Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan ranked 50th in the world according to the FIFA rankings. Colombia ranked 13th. On the scoreboard, not too much to choose between the two teams as Kusanov for Manchester City carries the ball forwards for Uzbekistan. In terms of quality across the 90-plus minutes, Colombia have looked by far and away the better of the two teams, far more established names in their lineup, but it's been a good fight put up by Uzbekistan in their first ever World Cup game, and it still might result in something as we go into the 97th minute now at the Azteca. Uzbekistan lose the ball in the midfield, caught sleeping somewhat, but they win it back at centre-half. Yurasov will hit the ball long from left to right, kept in well by Karimov, strokes the ball in field to Kamdamov, the substitute, one of two who came on at half-time. They're passing the ball around Uzbekistan in the midfield, not really going anywhere with it at the moment. Ball now with Mozgovoy, who had that chance. He's just been clattered. It's going to be a free kick to Uzbekistan, 30 yards out, inside left. Last chance, you would think, now for Uzbekistan, as Mozgovoy did really well to draw the foul.
Yeah, as Munoz just dives in and commits a foul against Mozgiev. No point, just he's not going anywhere. But now it was a perfect opportunity for Uzbekistan. With a minute to go to put it in an area where they can go and attack it.
Well, I mean, 90 seconds of stoppage time remaining. You would think this is it. It's going to be Shukurov with his right foot or Kamdamov with his left. Just over 30 yards out now. The ball's been spotted up properly. Last chance for Uzbekistan to try and find a goal to earn them their first ever World Cup point. Kamdamov with the free kick. Oh, and he goes and does that. Too deep, overhit, behind. Colombia goal kick. And with less than 60 seconds to go, Charlie Adam, that might just be that.
Yeah, Cannavaro's disappointed. There's perfect opportunity just to put it into the box, and he overhits it again. That's most of the set plays have been overhit tonight.
Yeah.
And that's just a real moment of quality where you need your real technical players to go and put it into an area where they can go and attack it, and he puts out the pitch.
And what I have loved about every single free kick which has been misplaced or overhit, every single one has really wound you up, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just don't see why it's so hard just to leave it and float it into an area, just to put it just so your other lads can go and attack it. You're a minute to go.
Yeah, scored many a great free kick, Charlie, in his time at Liverpool and Stoke City. I was going to say scored from inside his own half for Stoke against Chelsea. That was from open play though, wasn't it? That wasn't from a free kick. As Uzbekistan come forwards again here, ball over the top. They're fighting right to the very end. The 98 minutes are up according to our watch here. Colombia play the ball now long and high towards Cuco Hernandez, deep into Uzbekistan territory. He takes the ball towards the corner flag, then decides to cross it. Header goes in for 3-1, and that is game over. Leandro Campas, brilliant header off a superb cross from Hernandez. 3 goals for Colombia are going to give them the 3 points they need to go top of Group K. It is Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 3.
Wow, what a goal. It's unbelievable play from Hernandez. He wriggles, he room, he gets his body in strong, never gives it up, and he puts in an unbelievable cross, and Campas just heads it into the net. It's brilliant play from the striker. 2 subs combining, and that's 3-1. And said about goal difference, a couple of goals make a difference, but it was lovely play from Hernandez.
I was just about to say, what was Hernandez thinking crossing the ball and not keeping it in the corner? That's why I'm sitting here with a microphone, because you just thought, keep it by the corner flag, you've won the game. He decided to pick out a cross out of nowhere, the quality of that, with his right foot, and put it on Leandro Campas's head. No chance for goalkeeper Yusupov, and as soon as this game restarts, that will be that, you'd think, from Anthony Taylor. Brilliant, brilliant header that was, and in fact, that is that game over? We're just waiting. No, not yet. I think the referee's just going to restart this. Campas still celebrating his goal. I think the officials are just telling Campas, look, get back in position. We want to restart this game for what it's worth. He's just milking every single moment of it, and you can't blame him either.
No, again, like you say, as a coach, you'd be saying to him in the last minute of the game, get to the corner flag, keep it, see the game out, but he wriggles, he does brilliant, and he puts a lovely cross in for his fellow substitute, and he heads it in the net. Campas, what a header, what a delivery.
8 minutes were added on. We've now played 10 as Uzbekistan come forwards down the other end. Shot comes in from distance off the crossbar from Uzbekistan. A shot out of absolutely nowhere, thumped off the underside of the bar. They're 2 goals down, but they're fighting on and playing on until the very end of this game. Ball goes out for an Uzbekistan throw-in on this near side. That shot had some power behind it from Karimov, the youngster. It was nearly postage stamp off the underside of the bar. Wouldn't have been enough anyway, because there is the final whistle. Colombia with 3 goals to give them 3 points to send them top of Group K after their first game. Charlie Adam, a good performance by Colombia.
Yeah, good performance, thoroughly deserved, but what a strike from Karimov there in the end, in the last dying seconds. A wonderful strike, right foot, underside of the bar. But yeah, listen, Colombia were the better team over the whole game, and it's big 3 points for them, especially with what happened earlier in the group. So no, they'll be delighted with that. But the 2 subs combining there to get that 3rd goal, and yeah, it was a good performance from Colombia.
Dominant from Colombia. Uzbekistan did themselves proud. First World Cup game, they scored their first World Cup goal, and they fought until the very last kick, as we just saw there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Cannavaro would be proud of what they've done, but I think they could be better. Like I say, moments in the game, just that real bit of quality. I thought the subs come on, made a good impact for Uzbekistan. Real technical players, which will give them confidence for the next game. But no, Colombia were dominant force in the whole game.
That was game number 24 of this FIFA World Cup. It's ended